While I get it together, man, go ahead and talk to me about what you think is gonna happen.
Yeah, so Jerron Boots Ennis, he's fighting Usma Lima, a contender in the light middleweight division, you know, um, next week. I looked at some fights of Lima, and of course, I know what Boots can do in the ring with Jerron Boots Ennis. Um, the first I had two thoughts. The first thought when I first initially saw Lima, I was like, this could be a cherry pick gone wrong. I can't see Boots losing, but I can see it being a cherry pick it's a little hard. But the more I watch Lima, the more I feel like he's kind of a yeah, he has this one trick pony, which is the one trick 1-2. I mean, he can mix it up on the inside, but I think he's very vulnerable when he does mix it up. And really, all he got is that this 1-2, and sometimes he buries the speed, but a lot of time it's slow, And I think that's going to give Boots too many opportunities to counter and do his thing. But one thing I do get Lima is he's tough and he's a big guy, so I can see him lasting the full 12 rounds because I think Boots is just too sharp. But I do think it's almost a cherry pick that I can see it being rougher than people think it's gonna be. But I I see Boots, pulling it out, getting on his bike because he can do a lot of different things. He has the skills and pulling out a decision. So I got
So what
Jerron Boots
what,
in his
what, what are you expecting from Boots in terms of like his first this being his first fight? You know what I'm saying at 154. Do you think that's going to be beneficial in terms of like overall speed, power, things like that?
It can go one or two ways. I can see if he was truly drained at 147, I can see him just coming out and being a lot stronger, being a beast at 154. That's one way. But at the same time, you got Boots taking on somebody that's a real 154 pounder. Like he's not, even though he's not like this top 154 pounder, he's like a real size 154 pounder. He's not a small guy that Innis is taking on. This is a
Mhm.
big dude, and he might be the same size as Boots. So how Boots decides to navigate that's the interesting part. Is he going to try to come out and try to hurt this guy, and what happens when he don't? Or is he going to rely more on the skill and show that he has different wrinkles to his game? Because up to this point, we've seen Boots get on his bicycle and do certain different things, but we never seen him have to fight a different type of fight. Like, for example, what we see from Bud Crawford when Bud fought Brett Prescott and or Victor Postal, and he got on his bike the whole fight and probably really didn't even have to. So I'm not sure if I've seen that from Boots, even though I believe he has the ability. So it'd be interesting seeing Boots at 154 with all these guys that I think is a different size. Even though that's just one weight class, I think the guys at 147, the guys at 154 are just totally different sizes. Like 154 is just naturally big guys, and most of them aren't guys that moved up. They guys that started at that weight, and I think that's
And
where the challenge.
I'm going to cut your wisdom,
Go
but
ahead.
you know that Lima used to fight at a even higher.
You fight at
You know
what?
what I'm saying? He came down from he came down to 154. Like, he used to fight. I want to say the 160 or one a little higher than that, maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's a big dude. I was watching him, and on the flip side, because he's such a big dude, he's a little slower too. I mean, he seems like he fights at the pace as a middleweight and not really 154. I think he'll have issues with speed, Lima. So that's the thing.
Got you. Talk to me. What's going on, Ty? How you doing, man? Good show last week, the mixtape version.
Yeah, salute, man. Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
man.
show
Yeah,
last
you,
week for
you
sure.
coming in, you coming in
Salute.
crisp and clear, man. You sound like got a little Barry White to your voice today, though. Your little deep voice, man. What's going on? Did you go ahead and get your little something, something? You know what I mean? Like sound like you put some work in. But anyway, no need to answer that. What's going on as far as Boots, man? What you think is gonna happen?
Yeah, like I said, I agree with Val in this sense. This could be a cherry pick going wrong because, like, hardcore boxing fans, we don't know who Lima is. So, but I'm sure Lima, his team, they know what's at stake. They're coming into this guy's backyard. Same thing with Karen, and Karen gave Boots a fight. I can see that being the same situation. I can see this guy coming to Boots' backyard. he know everything is stacked against him, then he's gotta go all out. So like I said, I'm not familiar with him, but his record looks decent. So I can see him coming in here, giving Boots some trouble. He is a natural 154 pounder. Or I can see Boots making a statement too. Boots, getting some rounds in, and then once he feel comfortable, probably trying to get this guy out. But it is his first fight at 154, so it's hard to say, man. I think Boots will come out victorious, but I'm gonna go with Boots, probably by decision. Like I said, this is his first fight at 154, but I can see him both guys really trying to make a statement. But I'm gonna go with Boots by decision.
Talk to me about Boots' power, though, good brother. You think that his power is going to transfer? Is it transferable to the higher weight class?
Yeah. Like with the way, Boots did good against Stanionis. His last fight at 147, he did good, got the guy out of there. But this is a new division. It's a lot of talent, so it's really hard to say, man. I don't think Boots is going to have the success at 154 that he's had at 150. At 147, because like I said, this is a stat division, man. A lot of fighters, so I think this is just a stepping stone, test the waters. Once he gets past his guy, then we'll start seeing those big challenges. But I don't think he's really going to be successful like he was at 147. Because, like I said, this is a stat division.
Yeah, all he got to do is be who they put in front of him, though. You know what I'm saying? And Lima, I don't know. See, Boots, you can see the front runner mentality where if he has if he has a guy pegged out, then he's going to clown him. You know what I'm saying? He's going to start doing a little extra stuff. It's just a matter of, to me, if Lima can last maybe 8-9 rounds, because I think Boots has a lot of pressure on himself to perform because of the fact that he's at home. This is a fight that he's the one who really chose this guy to a certain, at least Eddie Hearn, and it wasn't like he had somebody there that a lot of people wanted to see. And then also when you listen to his press conferences or interviews, what he says is that he's supposed to be feeling better and things like that because he doesn't have to make weight. They said he was working at 30%. So now if you had 100% and you were looking pretty good when you had supposedly 30%, then we're supposed to be seeing a phenomenal boost in this, in this fight. And like I said, just his demeanor too. Sometimes when things aren't going so well, you can see the frustration. You can hear the frustration in the corner. And a lot of times they don't have an answer for what the other guy is doing. They don't have a plan B or anything like that. So that's when it can get tricky to me if Lima lasts and Boots isn't just like styling on him. And then I want to see how he responds to that. It's hard for me to predict, but if I was going to predict, I would say 12-round decision, even though when I look at Lima, he's open. The way he, his head is in the air. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to be available and accessible to some of the shots that Boots throws. But the last thing I'm going to say, fellas, see, I'm not sold on Boots' power just yet. Because some guys I see him hitting, it's like they take those punches and they just end up going down because they kind of afraid of Boots to a certain degree, and they don't think they can do anything with him. And so that's what happens. I want to see if this Lima guy, if he can take it, and see what Boots is going to do. So I'm going to say 12-round decision for Boots. And what did you say, Val?
12-round decision for Boots.
12-round decision for Boots. Anything else, man? Are you going out there, Ty?
Nah, I'll sit this one out. I'll catch it on TV.
Yeah, man, you're a Boots fanatic though, man. That's not like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been to a handful of Boots fights now. I've seen Boots fight live about 4 or 5 times now. But yeah, I'll sit this one out.
Oh, okay. So we good to go ahead, keep it moving, or y'all want to go ahead and talk some more about one of your favorite fighters of all time?
Keep it moving.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to the boxing news. First and foremost, I saw this right here. And with this particular topic that I recently saw, so I saw this on a boxing channel, and it says that Bernie Davis, Bernie the boxer says it's got to be 100 million or Crawford for him to fight again. Now, again, for me, I'm separating what I saw throughout his career. If he's able to get 100 million in his next fight, then you can't knock the man. You understand what I'm saying? For positioning himself to make that type of reward. What are your thoughts? You think that would be something that is a possibility for Bud to be able to pull off?
Personally, no. I'm like, who would he make 100 million against? You know, and that's the question. It has to make sense. Like, I don't see a fight where he makes 100 million.
Yeah.
Where the other guys are big enough name where a promoter will pay for it and they break even off of it. Just my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. What about you, Ty? You think that's a possibility for Bud unless he fight Jake Paul?
Nah, I agree with that. I don't think it's a pot. Now, if he signs a couple fight deal, okay, I can see that being happen, but it may have to be a couple fights, like 3 fights or something like that. Then he can make that, over the course of 3 fights. But far as one fight, nah, I don't see that. But he beat the guy that was considered, the cash cow. Canelo is one of the biggest cash cows in the sport. So, I mean, does that mean that Bud should get the biggest paydays going forward? Nah, I don't think so. But like I said, I think this is just something that can happen over the course if he signs a contract, has a couple more fights. But I mean, I still think Bud is on his way out, to be honest. He maybe a few more fights or so, then he's on his way out the door. Because, like, I don't really think to himself he don't have anything else to prove. I think he still wants to catch him maybe one more belt, 160 pounds, and just ride off into the sunset. So I can't really see Bud standing around much longer, but I can see him making that over a signed contract deal with a couple fights, not with just one fight though.
Yeah, it's because they have mixed messages because his trainer Bomac is saying that Bud has about 3 fights left, and then Bernie is saying he's not fighting unless he get 100 mil. The other thing that you mentioned as far as him beating Canelo, it's like, see, Jadakiss used to have a line. He said that if you murk me, you can't be the boss. See, that don't necessarily mean that you take over Canelo's shine to that degree. And the reason why I say that is because Mosley beat De La Hoya, earlier, when Oscar was in his prime, and that still didn't make him the cash cow. He still was having, difficulties like getting pay-per-view fights, because that's what Floyd Mayweather kept saying to him when they fought each other, is that you beat Oscar and then you have to join this, his company and all of this type of stuff. And you never really had any pay-per-views. And initially when Floyd came back from his layoff, he said that he was going to fight Marquez because Marquez gave Pacquiao a lot of problems. And then also he was talking about Marquez being more lucrative because he has a country behind him, and what's come is still relatively unknown to the masses as far as Mosley. So I don't know. Bud doesn't do a lot of the stuff that makes him somebody who is must see unless he's, tied to somebody else who's must see, if that makes sense. So we'll see, man. I think that he should be able to get some pretty good paydays, probably his best paydays, because it looks like he's aligned with Turkey, and Turkey really has a fondness for him. So depending on who he fights, I doubt if Benavidez or anybody like that is a serious, fight or thought, for him to take on. But I can see him getting about 50, if he does something like that. But he's in a good space, though, right now, in terms of how lucrative his next fights are going to be. All right. Now, this right here is another sad day in the eye of sport, man. You got Manny Pacquiao. He's finalizing the fight, for Rolly Romero. I think that Manny's going to smoke Rolly. You know what I mean? But what about you, man? What are your thoughts on this, Bill, as far as Manny fighting
I
over.
mean, on paper, yeah, he smokes Rolly, but there's always that day when age just catch up with you too much, and we don't know when that's going to be. I mean, we know Pacquiao's old, and we know he's way past it. But it comes that day where you can't pull the trigger even against.
Listen, man, Manny can beat
Finish.
him. I'm gonna let you finish. All I'm saying is this: is that Manny would be able to beat this dude with his stick and a cane and a wheelchair. It don't matter.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely levels to this, and the only thing that Rolly could have over Barrios, as far as you know, against Pacquiao, is really that Rolly can be more unorthodox, but at the same time, it can work to his demise because it only plays into Pacquiao so much because Pacquiao is pretty much. I think Rolly's best chance is to fight a disciplined fight for all 12 rounds. Have the engine to keep up because Pacquiao is going to get tired and then put it on him. That's his best chance, really. Because Rolly likes to be unorthodox too much, he can have some success early and catch Pacquiao and probably even hurt him. But Pacquiao is going to put his lights out. And one thing that Pacquiao has over Rolly and Lee's, which it don't matter what age is probably not going to be a factor, is IQ. And I think Rolly, because he has no real amateur experience, he doesn't have a lot of experience on the top level besides Ryan Garcia and the tank fight that he lost. It's levels to this, and Rolly is just not on that level where he can outthink even an older Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao, even with his diminished reflexes and skill, he has enough know-how and IQ and veteran status to he might get Rolly out of there.
He's gonna get Rolly out of there. Rolly silly, man.
Doing it, but it's the smartest fight. If Pacquiao is going to fight a welterweight for a title, I think this is the smartest move he would have made. That's up.
Rolly Romero's a 2-time champion, man. Imagine that. Imagine wrote that mess. But anyway, I think here's the thing, man. When you a status of a Pacquiao, even though Pacquiao doesn't, he has fundamentals. He has his sort of fundamentals, and he has that tricky little timing that he has where he runs in and throw punches. So you don't know which one of those is going to be this money shot. And so that sort of thing, what's going to happen is that Rolly, the biggest issue that he has is that he's so predictable in a sense. When he makes the noise, you know the shots are coming. And that's something you don't want to be telegraphing your stuff with somebody who's an all-time great, even at that age. I saw Alexis Arguello. He was well past it. And he was fighting this guy named Castillo. Bobby Castillo. Castillo was having his way, but it's just that old dog figured out a way to set him up and run him into something. And that's what he ultimately did. And Castillo was way more talented than a Rolly Romero. You're fighting probably somebody at welterweight who's top 40 for a championship. You can't beat that with a stick. So, yeah, Manny's going to knock this dude out. They're going to be having a parade out there in the Philippines. I just wish it was the summer because then I could party with them. What do you think, though, Todd?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Manny Pacquiao and this one, man, the Hall of Famer. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think he lost to Barrios. I think that Pacquiao looked good for his age. I just think that was a combination of things. I think it was just when he would throw his combinations, they weren't like, all of them weren't clearly landing. Like when the fans were seeing that, they were cheering and everything. And I also think it was just Barrios taking it easy on him. Now, I'm here with a Hall of Famer, Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to go easy on this guy. But Rolly's going to be there. Rolly's going to want to trade with Pat. And I think that's just going to be his downfall. Like Pac is, even though he's older, he's known for the combinations. He's known for, jumping side to side. So I think all that's just going to be a little too much for Rolly. Like, and we can't forget that, Rolly, let's not forget he really lost to the Barroza guy. He really shouldn't have had that battle run his race from that. But yeah, I think this is going to be a moment for Pacquiao to like really prove something to himself and the fans that, yes, he's older, but age is just a number. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to look good. I'm going to make a statement. So I can see Manny Pacquiao really making history in this one. So I'm gonna go with Manny by decision. I don't think it's going to be a knockout, but I'm gonna go with Pacquiao by decision.
Pacquiao going Pitbull cruise that boy. It was interesting what you said as far as Rolly has power, Pacquiao's old. So what you think though, my main man Bruce? You know what you thinking? You thinking that you smelling a little upset there? Before I bring Shelton on, I want to point out something that you mentioned, man. That was so interesting to see in that Barrios fight. It was two things that fascinated me. One, Barrios' corner kept telling him, "Stop hugging this dude, man. Stop, being nice." He'd go right back in there and do the same thing. Pacquiao like want to touch gloves or something like that, and he just was so happy to be in the ring with Pac. Also, it looked like Pac was about to get smoked early, but then Barrios kind of let him off the hook a little bit, and then he kind of got momentum. But the other thing that I want to mention is in previous fights, the crowds used to cheer Manny when he would do something phenomenal, right? He'd throw one of those signature barrages of punches, or he'll knock somebody down or hurt somebody, so they're cheering. In that fight, they cheered him on in order to kind of rile up the old lion. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like they had his back. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this fight. And I want to see the demeanor of Rolly because he's unpredictable. Sometimes he acts up, and then sometimes in some situations he's nice. And some it'll be interesting to see how he conducts himself in those press conferences. Go ahead, bring Sheldon on. Sheldon, what's going on, man? How them Raiders doing? I know you over there rolling through the city of Compton. You can give them some time, folks. You got to get that Compton Wi-Fi together. Give them some time. All right. Now, you want me to keep moving into, because I know he's going through probably Watts right now. You know what I'm saying? He got them towers he got to get through. The next thing on here, man, you got David Morrell and Callum Smith, man. They likely headed to Saudi Arabia in early 2026. Talk to me, Vail. Who you got in this one, man? I think we talked about it before, but now it's almost a done deal.
Yeah, that's a hard fight for David Morrell. Callum Smith is a big dude, man, and to go from Benavidez to Smith is still kind of rough.
No, he had the other guy. Remember, he had the other guy that knocked him down.
Oh, knocked him down. Yeah, so it's like, man, it's. I think Morrell, because Morrell skipped a level in his career. I think if Morrell would have took his time with his career a little bit, and fought up the levels and not been so ambitious, I think it would have fared well to him because he would learn how to do certain things. I mean, the dude is supremely talented as far as offense and can do a lot of things well. But I think there's a level of experience that comes with fighting different levels and going in order, and Callum Smith is one of those dudes, man. It's a rough fight. So the only question about Smith is how much he has left because he's been in some tough fights also. But I think he has the long reach and he has the footwork to make it interesting for David Morrell. I go back and forth on this fight, but today, if you ask me today, I'm saying Callum Smith. I will roll with him.
Oh, you going with the bloke? Okay, you going with the bloke from UK. What about you, Todd? Talk to some Sheldon coming back through from Watts, by way of Compton. Go ahead, sir. Talk to me. Who you got?
Yeah, this is tricky, man. Like Callum Smith, like I really enjoyed the fight with him. If I'm saying the right,
Buatsi.
Yeah, that was a good fight, and I agree with Val. Like I think that Callum Smith, like he's been in some wars. One thing I always think about Callum Smith, I always think he wasn't very fast. Like he was kind of slow. So I think Morrell's got him, on that edge as far as being faster and having more speed and all that. Morrell doesn't have as many fights, so I think he's the fresher fighter, of course, but it's a tricky one, man. Like both guys were in some tough fights. Morrell, I think the fans felt he lost that last one, but he looked like he was fighting up a roided up guy, man. So this is a tricky one, man. But I might go with. I'll probably go with Callum Smith, man. It all depends on what kind of fight these guys are in. Like, if is it going to be a toe-to-toe fight? You know what I mean? Or are they going to mix it up? If it goes toe-to-toe, I can see each guy, getting some good exchanges in, here and there. But like, I think at the end of the day, man, Callum Smith, like his experience may be a little too much for Morrell, but it's a tricky one, man. But I'm gonna go with Callum Smith on this one.
Yeah, the other thing too, before I get you on that, Shelton, is this going to be 10 or 12? Because I think the last fight that he had was a 10 rounder against the other guy, but the other guy, like you said, was putting some serious punishment on him, and he wasn't ready for that. What's going on, Shelton? How you doing, good brother?
Oh man, I'm doing bad, man. Raiders getting their ass whooped as usual. It's ugly over there in Indianapolis, man. It's
per usual.
What up, Shelton?
Yeah, it's ugly over there. Man. Yeah.
That's like
Callum Smith and
that's like telling, hey, listen, man. That's like telling us that it's Groundhog's Day on February 2nd. We all know what's going to happen.
That's as usual. I got you. But yeah, man. David Morrell was overrated from the jump. All you heard about was the Cuban School of Boxing. He's a decorated amateur. That has nothing to do with the pros. You put him in there with 9-10 tomato cans, and he looked great. And I always said the same thing. He looks great against the guys they putting him in there with. As you see, when the level of competition starts to rise, the fighter starts to look a little different. You put an 11-fight guy in, you say he's the greatest thing since sliced provolone. You put him in there with a 2-time WBC 168-pound champion, and he got mollywopped. Oh, well, maybe it's a little bit too early. Then you put him in here with a journeyman 175-pounder who ain't never really did nothing in the sport, and he beats him halfway across he beats him from one side of the ring to the other. I mean, I don't know what it is why people can't say, well, maybe I was wrong about this kid. Maybe you was wrong about this kid. I mean, he's decent. He's good. He got some athleticism, but he needs to develop. He's only got like 13 fights. And people are putting all these expectations on a guy with 13 fights. Callum Smith is going to beat him up as well. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the pro experience to deal with these guys. Let the man get seasons. Keep bringing him along, but bring him along slowly. Putting that belt on him after 3 fights was the worst thing you could have ever done. Because then he started to believe he was as good as everybody said he was. And now he's realizing that he's not. He needs to work on a few things. He needs to develop as a fighter. But Callum Smith gonna give him a whooping, and then maybe they'll get it through their head.
Yeah, we'll see. I have no idea. I can see it going a couple ways. It just depends on how much Smith has left. Smith, if he's about 80% of what he was before, it's going to be a very difficult fight for David Morrell, because I've seen him do it at the championship level, on multiple occasions, and I've seen him look really good. I like the way he schooled Buatsi, though. You know what I'm saying? Buatsi. But the thing is, Buatsi is so limited. He just relies on being that rough and tough guy who has a good chin and some power. But as far as the skills, they're not there. Morrell has more skill. 2 things about Morrell that I would like to have seen from him. I think that he could have made 168 a little bit longer. And I thought that he could have made a little bit more noise there as opposed to chasing after David Benavidez up to 140, 175. The other thing is, like the gentleman said last week who was on, he doesn't go to the body enough either. He's a straight head hunter. You know what I mean? Rarely touching the body. And he's big and strong enough where I think he can do some damage by breaking his opponent down. But like you said, Vale, in terms of the limited amount of experience of going up the levels, that he hasn't been able to hone his skills that's necessary in order to compete, as what you said, Shelton. So maybe this is the fight, but I think it's just too soon that he's taking these guys. Like, you got the Benavidez, then you have the other guy from Eastern Europe that you fought, that you thought you probably could go through, but dude was a handful too. And then before you can really, put things together, you right back in there with Smith. The only saving grace is if Smith is past it. You know what I mean? And he very well could, because that Buatsi fight, that wasn't easy, and that can take a lot out of an older fighter. but we'll see, man. I'm definitely looking forward to the fight, though. Also, Sheldon, was there anything else that we talked about, with the exception of Bucks? I'm kind of bud out, man. You know, don't do me like that if we don't have to. But
what's that? What's that? What I do to you, brother? What I did to you, man? I ain't do nothing.
No. What I'm saying is, as far as like Manny Pacquiao, did you have any thoughts on him and Rolly?
About the old man? He fighting Rolly? Yeah,
Yes,
that's a money grab. I mean, I think Rolly gonna beat him. I think Rolly gonna beat him. I mean, this is a fun story, and it's cute. But he's 47. Eventually, some of these young dudes gonna get him, man. I mean, to me, I don't know. I could be the old man kicking people off the grass, you know, that type of deal. But I thought that Mario Barrios carried him. I thought Barrios carried him. Number one, I thought Barrios could have did what he wanted to do. He just didn't do it. I thought he carried him. And I think Rolly is just hey, look. Rolly's done a lot with his limited ability. Rolly can punch. And I think Rolly's too stupid to carry Pacquiao. I think he's going to probably get him out of this. But hey, you know, they made the fight. Hey, they made the fight, man. And Pacquiao probably going to get $20 million, win or lose. So, hey, good for him.
I'm going to call him Manny McGuire. Show me the money. You know what I mean? So, go ahead and do what you got to do, old Manny. Also, this right here, Pacheco keep fighting dudes. I don't know anything. I just put that on there because of that. But he's going to be coming back in Southern California. So, you know, Shelton, if you got an event or something like that, or you want something to do on the 13th, he's going to be fighting this dude named Ernest Mercado.
December 13th?
Yes, sir. In Southern Cal.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to that. I'm gonna check that out. I'm going to that.
Okay. Yeah, keep us posted, man.
I'm going to that, yeah. That's close to the house. It's probably going to be over at the Gator Center somewhere, right down the street. So I'll be checking that out. And the chicken's going to be cheap, too. Diego Pacheco and Ernesto Mercado. I don't know too much about Mercado. I heard about him, but I like Pacheco. Now, who's this? Andy Cruz finally gets a world title.
Yeah. Bill, you want to talk about that? Talk to me, Bill. What's going to happen in this one right here with
Raymundo. That's Vale's boy, Raymundo Morataya.
Vale, you still there, man? Or you on that Flint Wi-Fi again, man? Come on now. What's going on? Is Vale there?
No, I think my man Ty is there though. Ty, you there?
Yeah, he's back. He's backstage. He got kicked out. He commented. He said he's backstage. So.
Oh,
Ty,
man.
talk about your boy Raymundo Morataya, Ty.
Yeah, man. So this one, man, I might have to go with Raymond on this one because I mean, Andy Cruz, like he's Cuban, he's got the good trainer, he's got Bozy as a trainer, so I think they're moving him the right way. You know, he's starting off his career, just his fights being on TV, so I'm sure he's liking that spotlight. But I think this is a legit test. You know, Muratalla, he's got experience. Hasn't lost since like 2010, so I think this is his first legit test. We know that he's beat, you know, Keyshawn in the amateurs, and he always wanted that Keyshawn fight. So I think this is an opportunity.
Keyshawn is his son. Keyshawn is his son. Remember, that's what he said. Yeah. He don't like how his son was acting up in that last time he was supposed to be fighting at home. But I ain't mean to cut your thought process off.
No, you good. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is his first legit test to, you know, show the fans that, you know, who he is, who he say he is. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's still early in his career. He don't have a lot of pro experience. So he's fighting a guy who's got some pop and he's got a lot of experience. So I think this is definitely his toughest test. So it's tricky for me, man. But
what do you think about Muratalla when he fought Farmer? Like that was a close fight. I mean, it could have went either way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've seen it. I might have seen it. I might. I'm gonna go with Muratalla, man, on this one, man. It's tricky for me to choose, but I'm gonna go with Muratalla. But like I said, like Cruz, he is a fresh fighter, but you know, not much experience as a pro. So I'm sure he's gonna go in and take full advantage. You know what's his stake. He's got to get past this guy to be, you know, a solid contender, a solid name. So I'm gonna just go with Muratalla, but I think Cruz really has something to prove.
You don't see this right here, Ty. Look, watch this. Watch this. Man. Watch this dude putting his paws on Muratalla. Watch this. Oh no, he got dropped right then. But what's this right here? Bill, talk to me. What you think?
Yeah, I think it's a tough fight for Andy Cruz, man. I think Andy,
Look at
if,
that. You
if
see how getting
I
dropped?
think they moved up, if they were moving at the same rate, and they were like at the same level in their careers, I would pick Cruz. But just like the David Morrell, the thing with David Morrell, even though neither of these guys, have taken a lot of punishment. I think it's almost like they're trying to turn Cruz into Rigondeaux or something, or Lomachenko, and I think he needs to take his time a little bit too. I think Muratalla is probably more experienced on a certain level that I think Cruz is just ambitious. So I think it is a tough fight for both of them, but I will favor uh, Muratalla in that.
Gotcha. What about you, Sheldon?
Oh, Raymond Murataya and Andy Cruz.
Yes, sir.
I would have to favor Raimundo Murataya because Andy Cruz only got 6 fights, bro. I can't. I just can't do it. I saw they tried to rush Lomachenko and they put him in there with Orlando Salido. We saw what happened. He wasn't ready. I don't care how many Cubans you beat and how many schools of boxing you went to, and I don't care about none of that. You're in the post now. I don't see no 5-6 fight fighter just coming in and beat the champion. I just don't see it. So I got to go Raimundo Murataya.
I can see Murataya winning, but if Cruz, my problem with some of those guys who him more so than a lot of the guys, it's just that when they come from the amateurs, they look good up until like the 5th round, 6th round, because again, as Karras once said, the biggest difference between a pro and an amateur is stamina. And so that's the thing. It's like, will he be able to sustain his skill level and also, just being able to think at that high level throughout all 12 rounds, because Muratalla is going to be coming with it. And so you don't want to be in a situation where you fatigue, you get dropped and stuff like that. And I just don't know if he has the conditioning to last all 12, because I can't see him stopping Muratalla because he just hasn't shown that type of power. He has respectable power, but like I said, as the fight goes on, I think that's going to start deteriorating. And then also, what's going to start get closer and closer. I would probably go Muratalla, but I think that it's going to be a goodie. I like the fight. Like you say, Bill, I think that it would be better, if they were willing to wait and let, the kid get a little bit more stripes underneath his belt. But right there, you see on the screen him, putting his paws on the sun right there in the Olympics. All right. Let me go ahead and go to the next slide, man. Also, this is gonna be a goodie right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Pitbull, December 6th, him and Lamont Roach are going to fight. I want to say it's in San Antonio. Yes, in San Antonio. And you got Roach, who's going to be coming up a couple more weight classes in order to face Pitbull Cruz. What do you think is going to happen, man? Again, it's at 140.
Yeah, that's the only part that I question
about. I'm going to restart my computer while you go ahead and share, okay?
Yeah. Right. That's the only part that I'm kind of that it could be risky for Lamont Roach is at 140, because I think Lamont Roach has the style to beat someone like Isaac Cruz, because he has the toughness to weather the storm. He has all type of different skills in his disposal. And plus, I'm just happy he got a fight, because it seemed like he was the biggest. That whole Tank situation, he ended up being the biggest loser in that situation, because, that fight, Tank versus Roach, was like what, a couple weeks away, if not less than a month, and all of a sudden it gets stripped. It gets ripped from under him, and then he has no fight while Tank is having this $100 million fight, $200 million fight that's going on. So I felt the worst for someone like Lamont Roach, and I'm glad he gets the fight against Pitbull. And even though Pitbull is a tough customer, I'm not sold on him on the top level, and I think he's kind of vulnerable. He could be beaten, and I think for that reason, for especially the fights he's shown he can be beaten in, I favor Lamar Roach in that fight.
Yeah, man. For me, I'm with you, Hal. Like I'm going with Roach. Like you said, it is a step up in weight, but like he stepped up to 135 and he handled Tank. Like this guy didn't run. He stayed and traded with Tank. He looked good doing it. And I think the same thing is going to happen with, in the Pitbull fight. But see, the thing with Pitbull is like I like Pitbull, but I think he only has one style. He just comes forward and he just throws these big shots. To me, it seems like he never has a plan B or a plan C, and I don't think that's going to work against Lamont Roach. He might have some success here and there, but I think Lamont Roach is going to be defensively responsible, and like he's just going to be catching Cruz. Like he's like Cruz is going to be throwing his shots, and Lamont Roach is going to be catching him while he's throwing his shots. Counter him and making Cruz like easy work. So I think this is going to be an easy test, for Lamont Roach. I think he's still riding high off, even though, he didn't win against Tank, he felt he won, the fans felt he won. So I think he's still riding high, off of that fight. And he really wants to get back in there and show that he got something to prove. Like he's better than what people think he is. So I think this fight is going to be a little tough in the beginning, but Lamont Roach, he's gonna adjust and he's just gonna make easy work of Pitbull down the stretch. I can see this being like similar, something like Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, or like we seen what Shakur did to Williams Zepeda, but Zepeda's a more volume puncher than Cruz is. So I think this fight is definitely going to play in Lamont Roach's favor, and he's just going to be pot shot and Cruz on his way to a unanimous decision victory. Easy work.
Shelton, what about you? Shelton, you there?
Driving through, man. You know what Shelton is, man. Yeah, I think
you already know me, man. I think Pitbull is a bum. Pitbull is famous for losing, and he gonna get beat up. He probably not gonna get stopped because he don't have a neck. It's hard to stop a guy like that. He's just a little tank head dude, but he gonna.
Can y'all hear him?
No, not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Sean, he having technical difficulties. But anyway, I think that this is just one of those matchups where you got a good boxer against a one-trick pony, right? And so just that style matchup, a guy like Roach should be able to handle somebody who's just coming in winging shots. You know what I mean? Because there's just not much there other than that to deal with. Now he does a good job like overwhelming his opponents, but it's just a certain type of opponent. Like if you somebody like a Rolly Romero with limited experience, Roach has a lot of experience, amateur experience. He has the pedigree. His thing is, when I look at Lamont Roach, it's just more so what tier is Lamont Roach, and that's what I need to see. I don't think he's on like the Shakur type level, but anybody underneath that, I think he'll give them all the trouble that they can handle. He may even give Shakur enough trouble, but I just don't think he has that gear to be able to defeat somebody like that. But a Pitbull Cruz, he is rock, paper, scissors, and he's the rock to the paper of Lamont Roach. And I think that's ultimately what's going to separate the two. So I got Lamont, even though it's in a higher weight class, I still think he has the skills to pay the bills to be able to defeat somebody like Pitbull Cruz. Shelton, are you there? If not, we can go ahead and keep it moving, man. Excellent conversation, fellas. Also, you got the old man who seemed to have a fountain of youth at this particular periods of time, but it's going to be one of the tougher fights that he's had in a while.
You didn't hear me before?
No, you broke out.
You didn't hear me before? I said Pitbull's trash. Y'all know I think Pitbull's trash. He needs to get out of boxing because he's a one-shot Erskine. All he got is a hook. He's gonna get beat up. He's not gonna get stopped by Lamont Roach, but he's gonna get beat up and embarrassed. He's not very good. I'm tired of the pit bull experiment. Let's get rid of this dude.
See, now I got to push back because to me that's an illogical thing to say about pit bully. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because just maybe 10 minutes ago, you said that you like Rolly Romero chances against Manny Pacquiao, but Pitbull should retire from the sport of boxing, and Pitbull murdered Rolly Romero. So I don't get that stance. But anywho, I don't know if you want to reply on that or not, but I'm going to move forward. If not, we got
Rolly Romero is fighting a 50-year-old man, bro. Mm-hmm. He's fighting a dude that's 50. Come on, man.
Is that your response? Is that it? So Pitbull conceivably.
What other response do I need? What other response do I need? He's fighting a dude that's 50 years old. He's supposed to get rid of him.
Okay. Will he get handsomely rewarded for facing Manny Pacquiao? I would assume so. Also, the fact that that's an opportunity. He's a prize fighter. So why not do what it is that you do? There's certain guys that Pitbull looks great against. Why not fight those guys in order to get the prize so you can take it back to Mexico where the peso is far greater in value than the American dollar? You still have opportunity. I don't see why you would tell him.
I'm not arguing any of that. I'm not arguing any of that. I'm just saying Lamont Roach is not the guy for him. Lamont Roach going to beat him up.
Okay.
He needs to stay down there fighting them BSC level guys. That's all I'm saying.
That part
He's not very good.
Also, the next topic, you got Janibek is going to be taking on Lara. 10-year difference, right? But it's going to be for a unification matchup at the 160-pound weight class. You got Janibek, who's 17-0 and 12 knockouts. And then you got Lara, who's 31-3 and 3 with 19 KOs. Again, 42 years of age versus 32 years of age. Janibek is 2.5 inches taller, but Lara has the reach advantage by nearly 4 inches. In this fight, now I remember back. Now this may not be the case in this one, but I remember when you had Mark Breland. He was about to fight Marlon Starling on ABC with Alex Wallow, and Mark Breland entering that fight, they were saying Mark Breland was the favorite, but they said you always got to be careful when you fight a guy who has more KOs than you have victories. And so I always had that thought process in my mind, but Lara's not the big puncher, even though he's sitting down his punch a little bit more. Bill, what do you think is going to happen in this one? Does Lara have a chance of the younger Janibek?
Oh, yeah, I think he has a chance. First thing is I never been really that sold on Janibek. I always thought that if Bud was going to fight anybody and move down to 160, Janibek would be the one stylistically I think he can beat easiest. But at the same time, I think how this fight would go, the problem with Lara is Lara got all. What was that? Oh, yeah. Well, not other than that. Yeah, that is the problem, and also that even though he's supremely skilled, he's starting to sit down his punches more because of that age, and it's misleading because he's getting guys out of there because he's so. I mean, he can set those shots up now, and he can sit down on those punches. But when it comes to a guy like on a top level that he may not be able to hurt like that, can he go 12 rounds and do the same thing he did against someone like Canelo? And that's the question mark. And I think that's where he's going to struggle against Janibek. You know, if you can't hurt Janibek, it's going to be 12 rounds, and it's going to be a long one for both. And for that reason, I slightly favor Janibek in this fight. Slightly.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, Bill. You still cooking?
No. Ty was about to cook.
Yeah. I'm a favor Janibek in this one. Both guys been having stoppages in their last fights, but his last fight was against Danny Garcia. So by the time he gets back in there, he's gonna have been out of the ring for a year. So he's gonna be a little rusty add that with the fact he's older. But yeah, he's been looking good. You know, like I said, he's been stopping these guys in his last fights. But Father Time is eventually going to catch up with him. So both guys got some power. So I think it's going to be, an interesting fight, a back and forth fight. But I just think that down the stretch, like Janet with like his pressure, he's gonna stay in front of Laura. Laura's gonna try to, use his footwork, mix it up a bit. But I think Janet's gonna try to, cut the ring off, stay on him, try to tire him out, try to tire the old man out, make his way on to a decision victory. I don't see this fight ending in stoppage, but I see Janibek coming out on top. But I like the fight, but I just think that this may be Law, like Father Time may catch up with him, especially in this fight with a guy who's going to stay on him and go all out. So I'm gonna go with Janibek by decision.
Okay, talk to me, Sheldon. What you think?
Janibek gonna beat the hell out that old man. Probably gonna stop him. Make Laura reevaluate. Think about retirement. Laura's too old. Janibek gonna beat the hell out that dude. I got Janibek.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not certain because Janibek just don't be fighting anybody, and then sometimes when you face somebody like that's crafty like a Laura, that it might take you a little bit of time to start figuring things out. But it could go as far as what you said. It could be just the fact that Laura might be a little bit too old. But Laura is in that situation where early in his career, to me, he was moving too much. And then now, probably maybe when he was around 39, 40, he found that sweet spot where he moved just enough, but then he also would sit down in his punches to keep you honest. But I think now he's getting to the point where he's just a little older now, and the reflexes and all of that stuff is starting to get a little creaky. So that's where it's going to be problemsome in a fight against this guy right here, who's kind of heavy-handed too. You know what I mean? I want to know what approach Lara is going to take, because I don't think he can like move around like that anymore. He just doesn't show the ability to be able to do so. But he also has that straight left hand, and that can keep Janibek honest. Here's the thing. The key to the fight is going to be if Lara can get Janibek's respect early. And that can kind of buy him some time. So we shall see, man. But it's a good fight. I think the winner is probably going to get Bud, and we'll see, where the chips fall after that. All right, so I'm going to go here. And then I think it might be, so we got that. We talked about that. Then also Eddie, he's running his mouth again about Boots going into this weekend. Bill, talk to me, man, as far as Boots, and based on what you've seen so far, what's the chances of him being that guy, who takes over as the number one guy ultimately once guys like Usyk and Bud leaves the sport?
Well, he's 28. He hasn't had his biggest win is Stanionis. A lot of it depends on what he's going to do in the next year. Is really if he goes out
he's
there.
He's 30, Val. He's 30.
If he goes out there, because it's too early to say because he can't turn it around. If he go out there, let's say there's a year's Lima out the way, whatever.
Wait, hold on. Boots is 28. Yeah, don't do him like that.
So let's say he goes out there, fights, the winner of Fedor and Thurman, who I assume to be Fedora. Let's say he gets Fedora out the way and then goes and fights Virgil Ortiz within the year. I think he's on a path to. He's on a better path than he's been in the last couple of years. So I can't say it's not like his. It's not like it isn't salvageable. It is. Is it likely? Probably not. But it's salvageable. He can do it. It can be done. So my answer is I don't know. It's all up to him. It's up to Boots. Boots makes that decision. in the next year. If he don't get on track in the next year,
no. You keep wiggling out of the answer, man. Like, what's the likeness of it? Not is everything is up to everybody. You know what I'm saying in terms of your skill level, your ambition, and all that. But what's the likeliness of it happening? Not putting the onus on him. Your prediction in terms of likeliness of him being the next up to take over.
I really don't know. I say that because I remember before fighting Edison Miranda and fighting what's my man name? For the Super Six, Andre Ward's first fighting at Super Six. I remember those saying not people wanted to have a question Andre Ward's heart, but they were kind of questioning was he ready, and people didn't really know that what he was going to do until he did it. And he switched his career around pretty quick. So that's why I say I can't say that because I've seen it happen before.
Yes, but you also seen Andre Ward being an ambitious guy, wanting to fight. You know, he wanted smoke. That's one thing you never question about Andre Ward. So it's hard putting those two guys in the same category. With Boots Ennis, it's like, who is he gonna fight? You know what I mean? Like, I say the likeliness is no, for a couple of reasons. One, he just hasn't shown the propensity. He hasn't shown the willingness to take on all comers. That's why I showed those guys earlier when I'm talking about Roy Jones. You line them up, I knock them down. It don't matter. You got Pernell Whitaker. You pick who it is that you want me to fight. I'll fight him. It don't matter. Like, they can't mess with me. I don't see that type of mentality. First off, you have to have that mentality in order to be the number one pound for pound fighter, typically. Right? At some point, you got to go ahead and brush your skills up against iron sharpens iron. So you got to figure out, if I'm Roy Jones going up to 168 and fighting the number one or number two pound for pound guy in James Toney, I need to know he can't mess with me. The other guy said he can't mess with me. And the whole thing going into that was, who's the power puncher? Is Roy Jones the better puncher than James Toney, or is James Toney like a better boxer? Or they didn't know, and both guys have said, I'm both. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to see. But he don't have that in him. Again, Floyd Mayweather, man, I want Juan Lozano. So dudes telling me about Bud Crawford and all of these accomplishments, some guys, they couldn't even do it because dudes were so scared of him. But you got to have that mentality. You got to have that heart. You got to be that dude who's cool as a cucumber out there on the basketball courts when you got so many people watching. All of these dudes got these truck jewelry on and herringbones, bumping Rakim and all of that. And you out there getting busy. You understand what I'm saying? That's the mentality. And I don't see that from Boots Ennis, man. We talking about 1988, 89. You know what I'm saying? That mentality.
They don't know nothing about that, man. These youngsters you're talking to, bro.
They don't know anything about that. So that, for one, that's the reason why I don't think that he's going to be next up. I do know some guys who have that mentality and they have the skill. Now, Bam might just be a little too small where they recognize him like that. But the boxing purists may be like, no, that's the best pound for pound fighter just based on his mentality, his skills, and things of that nature. So I can see somebody like that, right? Also, like Virgil. Virgil has it in terms of, I never see him show any inkling of trying to duck somebody or anything like that. And then when I'm seeing him, he's starting to get better and better too. So I can see him, you know, because you got to have that lion heart in order to be able to be projected and put in that situation. Last thing I'm going to say is this, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about Bud Crawford. And I know I'm saying a lot here, but I do want to give Bud this credit, because even though I give him, you know, I critique him in terms of unwillingness to speak out like the guys before him, he may just be somebody who, if once we get in the ring, I'm whooping your butt. You know what I'm saying? I just don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? He could very well just be that. For instance, I know me personally. See, I work around people who are screamers. Like, as soon as somebody do something, stop doing this. See, I never developed that mentality. They look at me like I'm tripping. But see, when I was coming up, if you ever see me get to that point where I'm like that, then it's time to go ahead and get busy. Like, that's my last line of defense. You see me start to like get the yelling and stuff like that, then we done got to the point where it's beyond repair. You understand what I'm saying? So, but that just may be his mentality. So I also gotta give him a little grace if that's the case, you know. So I just want to salute him on that. But as far as this is concerned, I can't see Boots being the next guy, but he could prove me wrong. What about you, Ty? What do you think? What's the likeliness of Boots being next up according to what Eddie Hearn is talking about?
Nah, I don't see it, man. Like if he was still at 147, maybe so, because you know Crawford, like the best in the division moved up. You know, Crawford moved up, Spence moved up, but he had been fighting. So if it was still at 147, yes, but he's in a new division. Like I said, it's just too much talent there. It's just too much competition, and he's going to have a lot of tough fights in that division. So I don't think he would be the guy to come out on number at the top and be on top of the mountain. Like I said, it's just too stacked. So if it was 147, yes, but in this new division at 154, nah, I don't see it.
So, what you think?
Well, when it comes to Ennis, I don't know because I haven't seen him fight anybody on his level, let alone a level above him. I've never seen nobody. He's never fought nobody on his level, so we don't really know how good he is. Now he's at a new division, 154, so maybe we can see because there's people at 54 that are on his level, and probably some people at 54 that may be above his level. But we don't really know what his level is because he's never been challenged. He's never been pushed. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in this.
He was pushed against Karen.
He's never been challenged. He's never been pushed.
Karen
that was just frustration. He wasn't pushed or challenged. He was just frustrated. He was just frustrated. He wasn't pushed. He was never in danger. He was never challenged. He was never in any position to lose the fight. He was just frustrated because he couldn't look the way he wanted to look. That's nothing. I'm a firm believer in this. You never know what a fighter is until a fighter is challenged and pushed. Got challenged. We thought we knew what Sugar Ray Leonard was. We knew what he was after he fought Thomas Hearns because he was pushed. He was challenged. We thought we knew what Marvin Hagler was. We knew what he was after he fought Anafermo, after he fought Hamsho, after he fought Mugabe, because he was challenged. He was pushed. And you saw what he was made of. We don't know what Boots Ennis is made of. He ain't never been challenged. I got to see him in a dog fight where he got to dig deep and push himself. I haven't seen him do that yet. I just seen him mollywop and run over everybody he fought. Like he's going to do this guy next week. He's going to mollywop this dude and run over him because the dude is tailor-made for him. He's Roman Villa with a little bit of pop. This guy's trash. He's going to fight. He's going to beat him up. I got to see him push, man. I want to see him in there with somebody on his level, and then I'll have an evaluation for you.
Let me check out Karen real quick. Put these paws on. Oof. Oh my God. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Come on. I ain't never seen no number one pound for pound dude looking like this, all frustrated. This dude go ahead and chop him up. Boom. Look at that. Come on. Come on, man. I'm not sounding like little Bootsy. Look at it.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
You see this right here? Look. He think that he got a little something. Watch this. Watch this. Boom. Come on, God. Yeah, if that ain't being challenged, I don't know what is. You know? You over there, look at that. Oh, come on.
Okay. Since you want to critique my answer, let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask you this. At any time in this Karen fight, one or two, did you think Boots was in trouble or he was in danger of losing the fight? Did you ever think that?
Yes. 11, 12 rounds. I'm like, what are you doing?
Come on, Will. You never thought that dude was gonna lose that fight.
Listen, I'm
never
thought. I'm watching these highlights. I'm like, man, come on, brother. Keep your hands up. Anyway, I don't see it, man. This is right here. Turkey. What do y'all think about Turkey? I think Turkey is good, but he's bad too. All of this, dudes got to move up. You got to fight him at this weight and that. Like, just can we get dudes to fight who they supposed to fight in their weight class? Like, that should only be preserved for the elites. You know what I mean? I had to do that. But don't be sitting up here. So-and-so Benavidez got to fight Opataya, and Opataya got to go up to heavyweight now. Like, no, can he do what it is he needs to do in his weight class? Can he clean that up first? What are your thoughts on this? Am I bugging when I think that?
You're not bugging, but hey,
Yeah, you bugging.
y'all was up here
You
praising
bugging.
Turkey. I saw it. The
Yes.
dude was on a power trip.
Oh man, see
But,
there
hey,
you go.
look, hey, Val, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Y'all
Whoever
was
signed the
Turkey
checks makes the
didn't look-
rules. Whoever signs
No.
the checks makes the
I
rules.
got you, but it's like Turkey is giving us the fights we want. Blah, blah, blah,
He
blah.
was. He was.
Yeah. But if I'm I'm Apataya. If I'm being offered Benavidez, I'll take it. I'll take it.
And I'll say this, and I'll say this to that point. I'll say this to that point, Val. He'll beat the hell out of Benavidez.
Exactly. I'll
He
take
beat the hell out of Benavidez. I'll take that. He beat the hell out of that dude. John Pataya is different, man. He's different.
Can Benavidez fight Bivol or better be like? I want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Turkey.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to you, Wilton. I'm gonna say this to you. John Pataya beat the hell out of all of them.
That's fine, as he
All
should. The man. So Benavidez 175. He fighting at 200. Yes, you should do that. But what about you fighting Gilberto Zurdo? Like, can you do that, sir? Like, can we get those fights? All of this hopping around.
He offered to fight. Golden Boy didn't take it. Golden Boy turned it down. They know what's going to happen to Zurdo. And Zurdo is one of my favorite fighters. But they know what's going to happen to Zurdo. The same thing Bivol did to Zurdo, Opataya going to do it worse.
Listen, man, that's fine and Dan. I just want to see it. I'm tired of this dude fighting.
Zurdo is too goddamn slow.
Tommy Chop Liver Lee. I got tired he wasn't fighting no Tommy Chop Liver Lee. You understand what I'm saying? This stuff
Why not? He's gonna fight Chop Liver Benavidez. I hope he fights Chop Liver Benavidez. He'll chop his ass up.
I want to see Benavidez face better be Bivol. Like, when have we ever had?
I want to see him face Bivol. Better be if it's like 44 years old. I ain't worried about that. I want to see him face Bivol.
I want to see both of them. You understand what I'm saying? That's going to be the challenge. Like I say, better be in that pocket that he fight in. That's going to be a bouncing test. Yeah.
Right. I agree.
He already chubby. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, you don't come in the ring looking like Fred Flintstone. Man, come on.
Hey, look, man. Like I said earlier, bro. Whoever signs the checks makes the rules. You don't like it? Don't take my money.
That's fine to say all of that. But again, to me, I'm somebody who's trying to make things right. Not the fact that I'm just going to acquiesce because you got the bread. I still can talk out and say what it is I want to see. I know you got the money and all that.
Yeah. I'm not doubting you for that. You're supposed to say what you want to see. I'm just laying it out for you. That's probably not going to happen because wherever the money goes is where they going to go. This dude's following the money.
Yeah, hopefully that's the thing. Like I say, money corrupts, man. Power corrupts. You understand? Also, Ajit, he's getting a little bit of, pushback because he's fighting this guy Nelson Hasia. Anybody heard of him before?
No.
Sad. Anyway, Ty, what do you got any thoughts on the jumping up, fluctuation in weight and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've been saying it for months, man. I wanted Apataya to face Ramirez. Those are the top names in the cruiserweight division. So I think that's why they're just trying to get him, to fight Benavidez or something. Because let's be honest, though, the cruiserweight division isn't stacked, man. We don't know too many top cruiserweights. But like I said, it to me it would make sense for Apataya and Ramirez to fight. Now I think that Apataya will come out victorious. But I think that's the fight that we should get before, we just try to talk about him and Benavidez or anybody else. So, but like I said, the cruiserweight division isn't stacked, man. So, but that's the fight I want to see.
Who you got between Zurdo and Opataya? You think it's a close match?
I got Opataya, man. I just think that like what Shelton said, like when Ramirez fought Bivol, like. It was terrible, man. I mean, I don't know if that was just an off night for him or if Bivol was just that good. But yeah, that was a terrible fight. But Ramirez does have a lot of experience under his belt, man. This guy's got a lot of fights, almost 50 fights, I believe. So he's got a ton of experience. But I think Apataya, he's hungry, man. He's stopping everybody. So yeah. I just feel that would go in Apataya's favor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about right. You know what I mean? That would be a good way to exit the division after a good, solid victory that most fight fans want to see, and that'll put more eyes on Opataya. So when he does make his foray into the heavyweight division, that he'll have a bigger following, as well. Also, Jack Catterall, man, you know Iko Usman. You fellas aware of him? That's the guy that beat Jack or Josh Taylor and kind of retired Josh Taylor. Remember that fight?
Mm-hmm.
So Jack Catterall, he's going to face him November 15th, but he's in Kent with Boots. You think that's going to be beneficial to him in his fight against Eastman, making his first fight into the 147-pound weight class? Yeah. Who you like? Who you like? You like Catterall against Eastman?
Yeah, I like
Usman. I like Usman.
All right, fellas, one at a time. Go talk to me.
No, I think Catterall sparring with Boots should only help him, as he moving up, But
did Boots and help Canelo?
Well, Canelo is fighting Terrence Crawford. Usman is it Terrence Crawford?
That wasn't the question, though, sir. Did it help, though? That's what I'm saying.
You the one that was rooting for Canelo, did it?
What, Ty? Who did I say I was rooting for? Ty, who did I say that I was rooting for?
Oh man, I didn't listen. I didn't just sit back and listen to you and Will and Shelton.
You the one that was rooting for Canelo. Canelo gonna beat the hell out of me too big. Did it help?
No. So again, if we're gonna go back to this, I can specifically tell you where I was each and every moment of the negotiation with Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo. Initially, when they were going to fight, I thought Canelo would win. However, it made sense now in retrospect. The approach that Terrence Bud Crawford was very, very uncanny. In most situations, like when he fought Errol, it made more sense for him to get a tune-up, allowing Errol to be inactive for 14 months going into the fight. Against Canelo, somebody who had consistently been fighting subpar opponents, why not allow you to fight another subpar opponent and allow yourself to continuously have the bad habits that you develop fighting these dudes that aren't sharpening your sword? So you go ahead and do that and lull yourself to sleep, and all I have to do is train for you. So every day I'm going ahead and I'm focusing in. I'm gonna give you an example of how that played out in my life. Again, when I was in high school, Vail, we were the number 4 ranked team in the nation, number 1 ranked team in the state. We got upset. We won the championship my junior year. Freshman, senior.
Not to be nosy. What state?
It's the great state of Wisconsin, sir. So don't. No.
Because I follow. No. I'm just asking because I follow high school basketball like that. So I just want to know what state. Okay, I got you.
So again, and my point guard, he played in the McDonald's with Glenn Rice and all of those guys. He ended up going to Kansas.
Right.
Also, anyway, with that being said, my senior year, we lost to a suburban school. So the suburban that we lost to, one of my better friends, he told us they were in a weak conference. But he said, You know what we did in preparation for you at the end of each practice? 15 minutes, we devoted something we were going to do to you because they knew that they were going to face us in the first round. But they had to win a game, but we had a bye. So when we played against them, everything that we did, they were ready for. It's like, how do they know where we go? And so he told us, he said, man, every day, he said, we worked on our press breaker. We did this, and we were trying to get you every day. So that's a good approach. Now, I'm not knocking him for it, but again, so understanding that's the reason why I told you. Vail, at one point, did I say that Canelo's going to have trouble with Crawford? At one point, I got to that, I came to that understanding. I was like, he's going to have trouble with Crawford. I know he is. After a while. Because then I started factoring in. I said, man, this dude ain't been fighting anybody. Then what I also looked at was the Lara fight. And I was like, he can't really get off on Lara. It's because of the athleticism, keeping a jab on him, and then his feet are slow. So I knew it going in. But also you got to factor in all these other guys are saying that Crawford's going to win. Like all of the fighters are saying that they going with Crawford. Some of them even saying that he probably going to stop Canelo. I could see that too, because he could have if he pressed the gas on him. He probably could have got him out of there. But that was my understanding of the Crawford-Canelo fight. It was a process, right? Demetrius Andre would have stopped Canelo. Coach Eddie, come on here, talk that talk, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Like these other guys, they had the same, opportunity too. That's the reason why Canelo was avoiding it all that time. And I feel bad for them dudes because if dudes are going to glaze Crawford for that win, then they should have got the glazing if that's what they wanted to do to a fight. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not glazing anybody. Ever. But anyway, as far as Easterman, what you say, Ty? Who do you think? Who you got?
Yeah, I got to see more on Easterman, man. I don't recall seeing. I might have seen him fight, but I don't really recall. So
yeah, he was styling on Taylor. That's a fact.
So.
But he's older.
That's something I have to do some research on.
Yeah, he's an older guy. What do you think about Catterall just in general?
Yeah, Catterall. Yeah, I mean, didn't he lose a couple of fights? So, like, who won between him and Taylor? I keep forgetting.
He beat him in a rematch.
He beat Taylor twice. Taylor twice.
The fight they gave to Taylor, the second fight, he won the decision, and he kind of the one that derailed Taylor's career. Because after that fight that they had, he had never been the same anymore. But also, some of the drinking and stuff like that didn't help.
Gosh.
Yes, sir. All right, last but not least, man, we got this right here, Lamar Rose.
Go back. Hold on. I didn't tell you how bad. I didn't get to tell you how bad Eastman gonna beat up on Catterall. Catterall is a pretty good fighter, man, but he's not all that. He's not what they say he is.
Yeah.
He's gonna get in there with Eastman and he's gonna get outworked. He's gonna get overpowered. It's a bigger, stronger guy. He's gonna beat Catterall up.
Okay, you gonna stop him?
He might stop Catterall. He might stop him. He might stop him late round.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring Coach on, man. Coach Eddie, he got the knowledge when it comes to the sport of boxing. I always like to hear this, brother.
Eddie, what's up, Coach?
Coach, what's going on with you?
Hey, man, what's good, brother?
Man, everything's gravy.
What's going on, Coach?
That much, man. Just got through chopping it up with my old man. It was his birthday today, so took him out the long haul.
Happy birthday to the old man. Happy birthday.
Yeah, he turned 72, so he doing his thing, man.
That's what's up, man.
I jumped on here, man. I know y'all talking about the Crawford and Canelo win.
Wait, Coach.
I got business. Go ahead, brother.
What type of steak did he get, man? What was it? Was it medium rare? Medium well?
Nah. You know what? He got the doggone ribs, man. He got ribs and the Parmesan chicken, man. He didn't want no steak, man. So I say, hey, your birthday, you get what you want. You know what I'm saying?
Do your thing, right? So my bad, man.
Yeah.
I stopped your wisdom. What were you about to say?
Oh no, you good, man. Like the Crawford, like shout out to him. He did his thing, man. But I wasn't surprised, man. And I've been saying a lot of people, they talking about Canelo was old and all this stuff. And that could be a situation, but I've been very consistent with how I felt about Canelo before Crawford was even a thought in his mind. So this is no shade on Crawford. This is my consistency. I've always said Canelo, in my opinion, was a little bit overrated. And Teddy Atlas been saying the same thing for years. Before Crawford was even a thought in this guy's mind, he been saying Canelo's overrated.
Yeah.
And he was overrated. Because if you really comb through his career, and you can do that with a lot of fighters, Canelo came along at a great time. It was the timing that he came along in. It was after the Golden Boy era. It was on the cusp of Mayweather was the man, ruling the division. And of course, we had the heavyweights and all that. But Canelo came at a point where they were looking for that next up-and-coming guy that could carry the sport. Now, can he fight Canelo? Yes. Does he have a good skill set? Yes. But it is limited skill set. Every fighter has a kryptonite, no matter who it is. Every fighter has a style that they like to face, and every fighter has a style that gives them problems, no matter who the fighter is. And Canelo's always had a problem with guys, lefties, southpaws, that are athletic, that can move, and that know the way in and out and around that ring. That's why they avoided Demetrius Andrade like the plague. Triple G avoided this man like the plague. for that particular reason. Because people have to remember, Canelo was managed by Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. You think that they told this guy, man, look, don't put him in there with that boy. Them boys know boxing. Bernard no boxing, and Oscar De La Hoya no boxing. They say we're not fighting this guy because this is gonna mess our money up. We need to keep you winning, keep putting you in with guys that are, former guys that are a little bit past their prime. The Shane Mosley, the Miguel Cottos, your Carlos Baldemirs. Everything was strategy. Even with the Lim Smith, the Kirklands, put them in with those type of guys. Guys that are gonna give you, they're gonna stand there with you. Either they're gonna slug it out with you, or the feet are gonna be nailed to the ground, or you're not gonna have to go looking for them. Because if you go look at Canelo, even when he was young, his feet wasn't that good. He was always nailed to the ground and let a guy get on the rope. If you get on the ropes with him, he's gonna let his hands go. He's gonna beat you up. Mm-hmm. But any type of movement has always gave this guy problems, man. And not only that, what I've been telling people, Andrade has one punch power. Maybe not to knock you out, but everybody that he fought, he dropped them. Think about it. It's very few people that made it out of the ring with that kid that didn't get hurt real bad or didn't get dropped or got stopped. Because he throw that looping left hand, he catch people, and he's dropping these guys, man. And it's a shame that he, got blackballed and didn't get his opportunity. But that's boxing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Coach. You cooking, man. So now I gotta go. I'm taking you through the topic so we get your thoughts before we close this bad boy out. Like I said, you're always on point, and it's always understandable. Like, the punchline of what it is that you're saying. It makes sense. It makes logical sense. Let me ask you this question. So the next order of business is looking at your knowledge of boxing and going back to that golden era with, I would even add Wilfredo Benitez into the equation. What do you think? And I don't know if you ever consider like hypothetical matchups and things like that, but I see some posts that people are making, and it really bothers me that they are doing these type of things and they're serious. So for instance, one of the posts, one guy says, argue all you want, but I honestly believe Terrence Bud Crawford would have hammered the 4 Kings. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Crawford probably had the best chance with Roberto Duran. Them other guys, I can't see. Hart Handler,
yes, sir. You're breaking up a little bit though, Coach. You sound like a little robot a little bit. Over there cooking.
Coming out of the Ali era. See, every fighter that comes after a great fighter kind of emulates that fighter. If you notice now, the way the guys fight now, they fight in a similar method to Floyd. Look at Shakur. He stands in the pocket, kind of feet to the ground. He rolls shots, trying to counter, more of a counter puncher. That was the Floyd Money Mayweather era. But if you remember, Pretty Boy Floyd had footwork. He was up on his toes. He was moving. He got that from his dad. His dad was out of that, cut from that same cloth. Everything you did, you was on your toes. You was popping the jab. Everything worked off the jab. Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, all those guys worked off the jab. They had foot movement when they wanted to get you. Thomas Hearns became a destroyer at one point in time, where he would walk you down, stalk you, line you up for that right hand and get you out of there.
Right.
Ray Leonard was shifty with the lateral movement and the hand speed and the combinations. But on that, he was a good finisher, man. And he could punch. He had power. He had power in both hands. He babyface assassin, man. Don't let this smooth look fool you, man. That guy was a monster, man. And then of course you had Marvin Hagler, switch hitter. You know what I'm saying? Iron chin. Yeah. I mean, the total package, man. Could fight both ways. He had that leaping gazelle punch. A lot of things were done unorthodox, but that guy right there, he was a tremendous fighter. And even with Roberto Duran, I mean, he's a handful too. I mean, just skill level, man. The guy went from 135 all the way up to 160. I think 160, 168.
Remember, he beat what's my man name?
Iran Barkley.
He beat the Blade at 160. He beat the Blade.
Yeah, he beat the Blade. And Blade was stopping everything, man.
Yes, sir. Blade ended up going up to heavyweight. Beating Harry Cosia.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, man,
Coach is right. You can put Crawford in there with those four. Hearns knocks him out. Haggard knocks him out. Leonard knocks him out. Duran, he might have a shot.
Got you, fellas. All right, Coach. We're gonna take you through a couple other few topics, man. I'd like to hear your perspective. I'm gonna bypass all of that, and then we can get to the topics that we actually discussed. So one of the things was the fact that I think it's a lot of slides on here. Next week, as far as Boots Ennis, what do you think is gonna happen? My thing is, do you think he's going to be better at 154? You know what I'm saying? Like stronger, faster. You know, the fact that he said that he was only performing at 30% of himself. Do you expect a spectacular boost? Or if you do, is it just based on the fact that it's Lima, or is it the fact that he moved up to 154 and he's going to be a better version of himself?
Well, the thing about it, especially during this boxing era, especially with the YouTube channels and social media era, everybody goes off name recognition, and if they don't recognize a fighter, he's a bum. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't. He's no good. I mean, think about it. When before Crawford fought Madrimov, they was like, who is Madrimov? He ain't this. He ain't that. After Crawford fights him, he's a great fighter now somehow. Right. Same thing with Tank Davis. You know, who's this guy right here? After Tank fighter, this guy's a great fighter. Right. So that's what it is, man. It's a bunch of cap smoke and mirrors, man. I mean, you're not gonna fight Hall of Famers every time you get in the boxing ring. It's impossible. There ain't that many Hall of Famers. Right. I mean, go back and look at your favorite fighter resume: Ali, Foreman, Frazier, Crawford, Roy Jones. They didn't fight Hall of Famers every night, man. So people gotta let up. People just want to just talk, you know, just bash fighters all the time because either they like another fighter and they don't like fighters, they're gonna find a way to bash him. Lima could be a tough fight, man. You don't never know what style's gonna give you a problem till you get in there with the guy. You like, yes, I think about go ahead, brother.
My bad. Have you seen Lima?
Yeah. I mean, he looked like a solid guy. I would call him a solid opponent, a solid fighter. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but he's a boxer. He's a professional fighter, man. So you can't take any of these guys lightly, man.
I gave Wilton the analogy, Coach, that Lima is Roman Villa with a little bit of pop, because that's what I saw watching him fight. He tailor-made for Boots.
Yeah, like I say, he's a solid guy. You know what I mean? He's not like a guy. He's not a pushover. He's gonna come to fight, but you know, Boots should definitely be able to get the job done. But you can't never take these guys for granted. That's the main thing. I think a lot of guys, even with taking Lamont Roach. Roach is a good fighter, but to the public, they were like, "Oh, this guy, he ain't no."
Yeah, you breaking up again, Coach.
You can't never tell, man. Never tell.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I just based on what you saw at 147 going in 154. Just let's even remove Lima out of the equation. Do you think that you're gonna get a better Boots at 154 than he was at 147, just based on the fact that he doesn't have as much trouble making 154?
Oh yeah, he should. He should be much better because he's a big guy. I seen some photos of him. Look like he walk around 180 pounds. Easy. You know, so he probably would have been better just go straight to 160, man. I mean, if he really want to get right down to it, but you know, 54 is the next stop. Maybe some big fights to be made at 54. So that's what we got. But I think we should be able to see a better version. You know, if he goes out there and handle business, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword. He goes out there and knocks the dude out in the second round. Lima was a bum. He goes out there and goes 10, 12 rounds with a guy. Ennis is a hype job. Why? Or you go out there and stop him in 8 rounds. What took you so long? I mean, you know, you can't win, bro. You can't satisfy. All you gotta do is just fight the guy in front of you. Do what's best for your career. Because at the end of the day, these guys are all gonna mix it up at some point in time. It may not be when you want them to, but they're gonna get in the ring.
I would like to think so, Coach, but I've been waiting for Tank to fight a lot of guys that they bypass, and now he's fighting Jake Paul. So that's kind of frustrating on that end. The other thing about Boots, Again, this is his first fight at 154. I'll give him a pass, whatever, as long as he gets a victory in this one, right? My thing is, what are you going to do moving forward? I don't necessarily personally want to see another Lima type guy because I would want him to go for one of the champions. And so that's my thing, you know what I mean? Because he is getting, later. I ain't going to say later in his career because he's like 28 going on 29. But it's a lot left on the table in terms of the level of opposition that you would want somebody to be had faced already by the time you made it to like 30 something and oh. You know what I mean? Because I know things aren't the way they used to be, but some of the guys that we mentioned, that's the reason why I can't put guys above them because they tested the water so early to figure out who was the best, the Hearns versus Leonard, the Durans versus Leonard, you know what I mean? So why are these dudes waiting so long to, get busy? For me as a fan of that era, it's frustrating. You know what I mean? For some guys to play that game. The other questions. So two more. One is who do you favor? Manny is going to fight Rolly. It looks like. Do you favor Manny in that fight, or do you favor Rolly?
Well, man, I think you got to go with the younger guy, man. Even though the Manny that I seen with Mario Barrios, he looked decent. I ain't gonna say he looked great. He looked bad. He just looked okay. Kind of like a mediocre guy. He looked like a 47-year-old guy. That's in pretty decent shape. They can box. Rolly should be able to get the job done, but I don't know if Manny's able to maybe lull Rolly to sleep because Rolly don't take the best punch. So Manny might be able to hit Rolly and get him wobbled, and then you never know. We seen Rolly get dropped and get hurt by lesser punchers. So that's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah, I'm tuning into that one, but I like the fact that Manny is fighting Rolly because Rolly is limited in terms of his skill. Also, like you said, he doesn't have the best set of whiskers too. It's a couple. Oh no, it's one more that I wanted to get. I think it's this one right here. As far as Lamont Roach, he's gonna fight Isak Cruz. Talk to me about that one. Who you favor in that matchup? Because the fight's gonna take place not only in San Antonio, which is more favorable toward Isak, but also it's at 140. So Lamont's gonna have to go up 5 more pounds. Who do you favor in that one?
I'm gonna favor Roach in that. I think he's gonna have to use the boxing ability, come up with a good game plan because we already know what Cruz is bringing to the table. He pretty much fights the same way every fight, man. There ain't nothing new wrinkles. You know what you got to prepare for. So as long as he's able to use his legs, use his boxing ability and cut angles and avoid the big, the overhands that people like to throw and the bolo punches and the big hooks. Esau's throwing everything with bad intentions, man.
Which is sick, yeah.
Yeah, so long as I think Roach should be able to get the job done. It's just box and be smart, use the ring, tie him up when you need to, and keep it moving. Just like Rayo was able to outbox a Pitbull Cruz, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen several dudes do that. Yeah, I've seen several dudes, and I think the guys that I've seen outbox him, Roach is better than. So I would expect him to be able to do it as well.
Facts.
So last but not least, Coach, man, Sheldon on here, he be talking a lot of noise, man, and we trying to get somebody. They don't have to be today, but next time you tune in, you hear Sheldon say something that you disagree with. What me and Vale and Ty are doing, we putting money in a pot. So anybody that can go ahead and shut them down, I'm putting 5 up. Vale put 5 up. Ty put 5
hey,
up.
what we agreeing to?
We'll go ahead and get out to the person who can shut them down. You understand what I'm saying?
We ain't putting bounties on the show.
Nah, y'all trying to team up on the brother, ain't you?
I'm trying to do like turkey, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to bring a little bit more excitement, to the sport, man. But certainly appreciate you, man. Any other thoughts?
I want to say one more thing. I know you getting ready to go, but I'm gonna give you up. I'm not even gonna call the upset, but I got Erickson Lubin beating Virgil Ortiz, man.
Oh, what do you fellas think about that? Do you think can you see that happening? Talk to me, Vale. What do you think? You think what's the likeliness?
I see a way for him. I'm not sure if it's likely, but I see a way for him, and I'm definitely rooting for him to do it. So I would want nothing more for Erickson Lubin than him to beat Virgil Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that look, because he had it. He didn't have it easy. He took all the tough fights, and he paid for it. And people, kind of clown him over it. So I didn't want to see him go into another rough fight like that. But if he succeeds in it, man, that would make me happy.
Yeah, you talking about the hammer right there. What about you, Ty? What do you think, man? You think you got to stop Lubin?
Yeah, man, I just got Virgil, man. I just think that pressure is too much for Lubin. Like, we've seen Lubin in this position before. He held his own, with Fundora. He dropped Fundora, but I think that reach in Fundora, that style, the long arms and all that was just too much for him. But I like Lubin, but like I said, Virgil's pressure, man. He brings it, and add the fact that this is in his hometown, all his fans gonna be there, friends, family. So I think Virgil's got a lot to prove in this fight, and I think his pressure just might be too much for Lubin. That's just me, though.
No, that's real. I can see all of these scenarios that you fellas have mentioned. I can see it. What about you, Sheldon? What do you think the likeliness of the hammer, laying a hammer down on Ortiz?
Well, he got plenty of action to beat Virgil. My problem with Lubin is Lubin like to fight, and he gonna run up in there, and eventually his boxing gonna get away from his game plan. And he gonna start fighting with that dude, and that's gonna be his downfall. Because Lubin, like Rolly, don't take the best punch. He's a dog. He'll fight you, but he gets hit. He gets hit a lot, and he doesn't take the best punch. So I think Virgil gonna wind up stopping him because he's gonna put himself in positions to be stopped.
Yeah, I lean that way more so, like as far as likeliness, but I could see Lubin winning. Best case scenario for him would be if all of those experiences that he had, it all, works out on that day that he fights Virgil Ortiz. Like, it all comes together. But as far as him winning, because he has a powerful left hand, I was there. I saw him. I want to say that was the Porter versus Berto fight. It was one of those fights we were out there at the Barclays. So I saw him firsthand. He hit that one guy. It was fourth round. He did something like a little dip, and he came up and hit him with that left hand. And put him
I think that was George Cota.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did that little move. But and then I just saw how powerful the left hand is. So he does. But it just seemed like after the Charlo fight, he's a little bit more reluctant and less confident. He's more, subtle in the ring. Then he was more aggressive. But it could play out if he finds the right opening. I've seen Ortiz hurt, you know what I'm saying? But Ortiz does a good job once he's hurt to be able to put himself back in position, to switch things up on his opponent. So he's good in that regard. I just think this is what's going to happen. It's going to be a good fight as long as it lasts. But if the fight goes past like 6-7 rounds, I can't see Lubin winning a fight after 6 or 7 rounds, because I just think that Virgil's going to be putting too much punishment on him because he's not the best defensive fighter. Virgil is going to force you to fight, and in that, scenario of him forcing him to fight, he's going to be vulnerable at times to be hit with the left hand. But if he's able to fight through and make it to the latter part of the fight, latter part of the fight, it's going to be all Ortiz, because what's going to be worn down a little bit too much based on that pressure. Ortiz is a bad boy. But shout out to Lubin, man,
You don't think Lubin has the ability to box his way out of Virgil's pressure?
I don't see him doing that. I don't see, because like you said, he likes to fight. So if you bringing it to him, and even if he's boxing, he's not the best boxer. So some things that Virgil does is going to get through. And once that happens, then he's going to resort back to instincts in terms of wanting to fight. Like, okay, you got me, so let's go ahead and get busy. And that's where the trouble is going to happen, to me.
But I think that Lubin he's the puncher in this fight as far as one punch shot. Lubin's, in my opinion, I believe Lubin is the harder puncher. Gotta remember, Lubin is a career 154. I think Virgil came up from 140. He ate himself out of the division. Not only that, this is why I favor Lubin, because Virgil, every time Virgil fights, it is a war. No matter who he fights, which lets me know that he is limited, man. You can't, if you got to go to war with everybody that you fight, that says something about you.
Coach.
And he does that in the ring too. He probably does that in sparring. He goes to war in sparring. I think Virgil is probably he's gonna have a short career because of the way he fights. He goes to war too much. And I think that Lubin is going to run that kid into something, man. I think Lubin's a better boxer. Lubin freaking dropped Edgar Berlanga, inspired, knife shot, put him down. I don't know. For some reason, I just got Virgil in this fight. I mean, I got Lubin in this fight, man.
Well, that's Berlanga, though. You understand what I'm saying? But here's the thing, though, too, Coach. What I'm going to tell you, I agree with you up until I saw Virgil fight Madrimov. When I saw Virgil fight Madrimov, because I was leaning towards Madrimov to be able to beat Virgil. But in that fight, that was the first time that I saw Virgil kind of put things together in terms of being more defensively responsible. Because Madrimov was trying to do that little herky-jerky stuff, and he was trying to set him up for over like a chopping punch. But Virgil was so, responsible that he never allowed that to happen. In most fights, I see him, he's a little bit more reckless than he was in that fight. Now, it could be the fact that he just don't respect the dudes that he's fighting and that he think that he just can overwhelm them. And in that fight, the fact that he did such a good job against Terrence Crawford, his antennas were up, so he was showcasing things that he typically wouldn't because he had that much respect for Madrimov. I think that in this fight, he knows what needs to be taken away from Lubin. I hope, for his sake. But Lubin does have a chance, man. As far as being a puncher, yes, he's the one punch guy. Like if somebody's going to go to sleep, he would be the one that would do it. But as far as like the demolition, breaking you down, beating you down type punches, and I think that with both hands, Virgil punches better with both hands than Lubin does, because I think it's the left hand for Lubin. The other one isn't as dangerous.
Hey, I got one more thing. Do you think sometimes a performance can inspire a fighter? Perhaps the Terrence Crawford performance and the strategy that he used versus Canelo will inspire, because you can actually use that as a film study to, this is how you beat a great fighter right here by doing this. Right. You can use that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that Crawford went out there and he didn't destroy Canelo, but he tactically beat him, and he didn't beat him up and then send him to the hospital, but he won. Right. And it was a strategy and it was a technique that was in place. It was a great game plan, and they followed it to a T. And a lot of times you can use a performance like that to catapult you, to springboard you into a victory that people maybe say you shouldn't be able to win this fight, but use the right strategy, you can get the job done.
So you're thinking that Lubin can use that as a blueprint? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I think one thing about it that holds true throughout time is the moving target is hard to hit, and that's a fact. That's not like an opinion. That is a factual statement. Whether you're shooting, whatever you're doing, something that's moving is a lot harder to hit than something that's standing there stationary.
The only thing I would ask though, Coach, is when have you seen Lubin fight like that? Like I never seen like that. Don't seem like that's something that he does. Now he may do it in his fight. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I never see him fight like that. But I respect the mess out of Lubin. Some guys, they try to bite off more than they can chew, too early. And I thought that he was there when he tried to fight Charlo, at that particular time. I just didn't think that he was ready. I thought he may have been like a year or two away from fighting somebody who was on their game like Charlo was at that particular time.
How old was he when he fought Charlo? 21, 22?
He was like 21, yeah.
I think he was like 22. That was just bad, man. I mean, he just got caught. So he got caught. But the way he was trying to get up, man, it was bad.
And it's good to see him get to the point where he is now after that. And then also he was looking like Martin, you know what I'm saying, when he fought Tommy Hearns, when he fought Fondor. So the man, he deserves, that Vail don't like this fight. He's being nice right now, but Vail was like, no, I don't want this fight for him. And then also the Murtazalia, that's what he was really scared for, Lubin. But I thought that he may have had a chance against Murtazalia, because I don't know what Murtazalia would do with somebody who's athletic like that. I just never seen him fight anybody like that. You know.
Now let me say this though, when it comes to this Mertens Aliev cat, I'm a firm believer that it's a reason why nobody want to fight this.
It is. He's scary, man.
It's a reason because dude's been ducking this dude like they was ducking Triple G back in the day. They just don't want nothing to do with this dude.
Zoo was the only
And
one.
they think of every imaginable excuse to get out of a fight with this dude. Coach Eddie, is he that good?
You know what? You talking about murder, right?
Yeah, Mertens Aliev, yeah. They scared of that dude, man. I don't care what nobody say.
I mean,
that whole division's scared of that dude. They scared of him.
It could be, man. It's so much money in the game right now, man. These guys don't want to take no risk, man. I don't think that they actually scared to get in the ring with him. I think these guys are scared of losing because you lose, man, it's gonna kick you back in the, it's gonna knock your goddamn pay scale down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These guys are trying to stay undefeated now, man. That's why we're not getting the fights that we want to see because everybody's trying to keep that zero, man.
And they like the thing with Mertens Aliev, they don't say his name. Like they ignore him as if he in a different weight class. Like they'll be talking about everybody else. And then it's like, yeah, I'm going after the champions. I'm going after this. Even Ortiz. Like I heard him say that he was trying to get the Xander Zayas fight. I was trying to get this fight. And then I'm like, well, you never mentioned him. And then with remember, Charlo had all of the different people that he was talking about. He never had him on there. I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you just ignore somebody like that?
But he's getting even fun. I think Fundor's a duck, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, you in boxing, coach. You in boxing, so you know when I say this, the fighters know. They know who is here.
Oh yeah.
And they ain't nobody, Fundora included, ain't nobody trying to fight this dude.
Fundor's fighting Keith Thurman, man. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. I got a question for Coach Eddie. Since Canelo, lost to Crawford, do you see him and Andre fighting in the future?
No.
Do you see Canelo?
You talking about Canelo or Crawford? You talking about Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo and Andre. Canelo.
You know what? To be honest, man, that fight is a fight that can be made and should be made. Let me tell you why. He's an antagonist, and the Mexican fans need somebody that they hate. You got a black guy who runs his mouth all the time. Guy that's been chasing you around since 2014. And you can make probably a whole hour video long of Demetrius Andrade antagonizing Canelo Alvarez. You can sell that. And I think at the press conference, by the time that fight happened, it would be at a fever pitch. Mexican fans want to see this guy get destroyed because he's gonna talk so much crap at that press conference. They got a history already. I mean, think about just a random guy that Canelo just pulled out of the woodwork and put in the ring with this guy. No history, no backstory, no nothing. So for people to dismiss this guy saying he doesn't deserve a shot, let me get this straight. This guy had to prove himself against the Mexican monster, somebody that Canelo Alvarez is terrified of. So if I don't beat the Mexican monster, now all of a sudden I'm a bad fighter. And Canelo Alvarez he hurt Demetrius Andrade's career because that payday, you want payday, I know that you're a horrible fighter. That weaponized the whole fan base against this guy. And everybody knows him as a horrible fighter now because Canelo said it. So everybody believed it because it came out of Canelo's mouth.
Canelo.
Well, I also think the problem with Andre also is that he was only chasing Canelo. I mean, he wasn't chasing. I mean, he could have fought.
No. Yeah, your facts wrong. He chased Charlo, been trying to fight Charlo for years. He got in the ring with Triple G. They shook hands. That man said, "I will fight you." And the fight never came. So this man ain't. He's supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders popped dirty, and then all of a sudden he wasted out and wants to fight Canelo. So he's been trying to fight anybody. He's trying to fight Charlo right now. Caleb Plant don't want to fight this guy. So he's not been chasing Canelo. He's been trying to fight all these dudes. They don't want to fight.
If it's one or two guys tied, okay. But when you got like 7 or 8 guys avoiding this one guy, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Here's the thing, though. So you guys are nice guys when it comes to the thought process of Canelo deciding to fight Demetrius Andrade. He's not fighting no dang on because Demetrius Andrade. I'm gonna give you a good reason why. For one, he's too easy to avoid and not really receive any backlash. What Canelo's going to do, I think, is going to fight somebody like Eubank Jr. or somebody like that. Like he'll go the route of, okay, I can go ahead and get me the UCAN fan base, because you know how the UK is. They go for pretty much anything. If they going for the Eubank and Ben fight, just imagine them having Canelo over there or having a Canelo fight. So he'll do something like that. He's not giving Demetrius Andrade the opportunity. I already know, even though Canelo made probably about $100 million, that, according to what he said, because the guy said that you making close to $100 million, he was like, no, it's over that. So if he made that type of money, his feelings being hurt of losing to Crawford, the money superseded that. So he's cool, you know, because the reward outweighed, you know, how I feel about the loss. But moving forward, in order to make some more money, to me, that's something that he can justify doing because he wants to have an opportunity to, you know, to have that access to that fan base if he decides to go over there or something like that. Because he did fight Billy Joe already. Because he's not in the business of doing something like anything that's of substance. It's just more so how he can cash in and cash out on his way out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. And based on what happened to him in the Crawford fight, he's not going nowhere near Andrade. Nowhere near, because Andrade's confidence got to be even more through the roof now. He's not going nowhere near that guy, because that dude can probably go in there and beat the brakes off of him, man. Because I think, I think he'll finish. I think he'll probably finish in Canelo. He'll probably stop him or just beat it. It'll be bad. Because I think Hamza Shiraz, I think Shiraz stops Canelo. I mean, he's not the same fighter. I mean, and not taking that away from Terence Crawford. The man looks old, bro. Look at his face. I mean, dude, he's not the same guy. It is what it is. That's boxing for you. So they're going to be very smart and make sure that Canelo fights that he could definitely win. I don't see him getting in there with anybody that's a real threat.
No, because he hasn't done it since he fought Bivol. Like when you look at his resume, he fought Ryder. He fought like the Munguias. He fought like the Berlangas. He fought the Skulls. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't fought anybody that could get busy. But what he does is what you said, Coach. If you get on the ropes, and those dudes will get on the ropes, and then he'll punish you. But for the most part, against those guys, he's experienced enough where he can buy some time and act like he's doing something, and they don't know any better. You know what I mean? Because they just happy to be in the ring with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to do too much. So he's been milking that for a long time. But again, man, you know. But anything else, Coach, that you got? You know what I'm saying? Before we wrap this one up, my Packers ain't playing today, so I'm pretty cool. Vale, is the Lions playing today or tomorrow?
Yeah. They just started.
Oh, okay. Who they gonna get smoked by?
Man, they gonna smoke the Bengals.
Oh, okay. Shout out to the Bengals, man. But anyway, Coach, you got anything else, man, that you want to touch on? Man, it's always an honor and pleasure. I wish you would come up here earlier where we can discuss some of these topics with you, man, because you sharp as a knife, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put my notifications on, man. But no, I'm good, brother. Great show today, man.
Man, thank you so much, man. It's always an honor and pleasure, man. All right, Coach. We'll catch you next time. All right.
All right, salute.
Peace.
Salute.
Yeah, man. It's always good to get an honorable guy like that who know they stuff. But I just wish he would push back on Sheldon a little bit more so we can put that money down. Also,
he can't, man, because
why
I'm totally correct.
Why you attacking our
He
show?
can't, because I'm totally correct, bro.
We just need a segment of Sheldon going back and forth with somebody and giving them
come out with you.
With you, because you don't know what you're talking about. You be working off emotion, man. You be working off the fact that you don't like.
Go ahead, let's move on. Go ahead, Will. Move on.
That's it. I'm the one. Listen, this would be like Tupac versus Biggie. You understand what I'm saying?
Ooh, come on.
This is Nas and Jay-Z. You know what I mean? But all right. Last but not least, you got this right here. I thought this was cool, man. You had Lamont Roach. He put this out there, you know, as far as a promotion for his fight that with Pitbull Cruz. So on here, you see how he did old Gary, like Gary, little appetizer. He got him with his little cane over there. And then over here, he got the entrees over here, where he got Shakur, and then he got Tank over here, and then he got Pitbull over there. So he getting one of the entrees over there. Pitbull is like one of the most profitable dishes, though. You know what I'm saying? One of the most profitable entrees. What do you think about that, though? Was that the cool little promotional thing that he put together? Clever.
I haven't seen this, but it's funny though.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's almost
That's
funny
beautiful. I love it. I love it.
It's always funny as when Errol Spence did the Mike Tyson.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward. So
He was knocking everybody out.
We got any last words as far as we talking about my main man Spence, man?
No, I thought it was funny. Yeah, him knocking all these people out like Pacquiao and all them, and Danny Garcia. I thought that was funny. It was creative.
Yeah, my last words is Bo Mac.
Yeah, they put Danny Garcia on there as a after dinner mint.
I saw Bo Mac, man, the other day. He looking larger than ever. You understand what I'm saying? They said that
large, eating good.
They said the
Bo Mac
man.
big? You said Bo Mac big, man? Bo Mac ain't big, man.
Hey, listen, man. The guy said he left Ruby Tuesday to go to Fridays for a Sunday. You understand what I'm saying? The man ate up half the week.
Why do my man mac and cheese like that, man? Why do my man mac and cheese like that?
Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. That's what he said. But anyway, man, what's your last words, man? That was a good show, man.
Yeah,
okay,
man. Shout out to all the folks that was online, man. Shout out to Coach Eddie, McGarrah, Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Shelton, Ty, Will, all y'all folks, man. Let's keep it real, man. Keep it popping.
Keep it real. What about you? Tell us your last words, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. Appreciate, coming on the show. Always talking that good boxing with, knowledgeable guys, man. Y'all guys, you live every Sunday, man. So, I'll always be tuning in, man, to hear that good boxing talk.
Yeah, that good talk, man. Sheldon, talk to me, man. What's your last words? I know your team went down.
Oh, man, great show as always, brother. Y'all always come through, man, and give me a respite from my Raiders getting their ass whooped.
Yeah.
It's just got bad, man. It's bad. But, we talked this good boxing, man. We got something to talk about actually next week because we got my man Ennis and my man Lima, and we'll see who's right and who's wrong. I say the fight's going to be interesting for as long as it lasts. But we'll find out, man. Great boxing talk, great show.
Yeah, man. And
that to y'all soon.
Yes, sir. That concludes the boxing portion of it, folks, because these two fellas, Vail and Ty, they hip-hop fanatics. So I got to hit them off with a question or two. You know what I mean? As far as boxing is concerned, I think next week Boost is going to shine forever like patent leather. You understand what I'm saying? But as far as this is concerned, I want you hip-hop heads to look at these three albums of different groups. Who had the best first three albums out of these groups that you see?
The ones listed.
All of them. So you got NWA, they first three.
Oh man, this is hard.
You got Tribe, you got MOBB, you got PE, you got.
For me, I'll tell. Let me narrow it down. I'm gonna tell you what's between. You got Tribe Called Quest, you got Mobb Deep, and you got Outkast.
Yes, sir. I think PE. The only thing is their first CD wasn't as potent as those other two.
Who?
PE, because PE had Public.
Yeah. And then Getter Boys, their first album, that actually is a remix album.
Those first two are classics. Bro.
Yeah, their first one though was Grip It on Another Level.
Yeah, I'm just saying notable ones, and then that other one over there was with Big Mike, I think.
Yeah, matter of fact, they had one even before that. Before it wasn't even, it was a different line.
But out of these three, though, you know what I mean? Like these probably.
Yeah. it's tough, man.
It's tough, man.
Outcast is real. Like, Outcast is different, man. Okay,
While you fellas wait and y'all contemplating, I'll tell you, because to me it's between Outkast and MOBB. I'm going with MOBB as whoa. It might be Outkast.
Look at you.
No. So it's to me it's Outkast, MOBB, and then Tribe.
Yeah.
But then also, see, here's the thing. Here's why the other ones weren't in contention, is because NWA, the 100 Miles and Running really wasn't. It was like it wasn't that many songs on there.
Yeah.
So but if it was just two, they might be number one, because those first two, especially In For Life. In For Life is one of the most underrated CDs or albums of all time.
Yeah, you can tell that the Chronic came from that. Like you can tell the
sound. You know what I'm saying?
Dre was cooking it up.
Yeah, he was putting it together. Now with Tribe, if you just had the Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders, they could be number one. Like I can't skip like any, and then they got that different vibe to them. MOBB is second because to me it's in between Infamous and Murder Music, because I thought Murder Music was them at their apex. I thought they put it all together. What's coming just more grimy. It's just like them, putting it together. Like you said, it's another album that they had before that, but Juvenile Hill, I think. But nobody adds that to the collection. The Infamous, the one here in red, some people like that just as much as the other ones. I don't, but they had some stuff on there, right? But when I'm looking at Outkast, those three right there are classics. Like all of them, like without a shadow of a doubt. So I got to go with them. And they brought that Southern, swagger to them, the playalistic type approach. And then also they kind of grew into something else when you got to AT Aliens, you know what I mean? But all of it is all Atlanta, And so I got to go with them. But Mobb Deep is a close second. And then I'm going to go with Tribe. But I thought that the first Tribe right there, it was good, but it wasn't a classic to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like Low End Theory is when they really came with their own, especially with Fife, really felt more comfortable. And then Midnight Marauders was just them production-wise just operating.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ty? You had any dog in these fights right here?
Yeah, I guess you could say it depends on what your preference is. Like Mobb Deep had like the gritty flow, the beats. Well, Outkast had the beats too. So, but Outkast was different with it. So, I guess like if you wanted that gritty flow, it would definitely be Mobb Deep. But if you want something different, it would be Outkast. Like that's for me. So 9 would be Outkast, Mobb Deep, Tribe, and then NWA. Well, I'm not really too familiar with a lot of the music because I was, just a kid, little boy at that time. So I'm not too familiar with NWA's music. So
check this out. Do you know that Mobb Deep, the Infamous, was rated the best album of all time, hip hop album of all time? It was some like hip hop award that they received. Could you see that? Now I could see that being the best, like thugged out. Not to say that it is not up there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a cold album.
Yeah,
it's a lot of but I just think that from the standpoint, if you're gonna make it the number one, that it would have to be a little bit more well-rounded. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, this year, when I rated the top album, hip hop album, I gave it to the Clips. Now, when I'm looking at Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo 2, I probably like more songs on Alfredo 2 in terms of just listening. But I gotta go with the Clips because they do much more in those songs. Like they giving you a song where they talking about real scenarios and situations. Then they're giving you songs where they are being so creative, and as far as a figurative language song, they covering so many bases. But just listening, I would like Freddie Gibbs album, but I can't give it to, because he's like a Pitbull Cruz. Like, I probably like watching Pitbull fight, but I can't say he's number one pound for pound over somebody else who just does way more. That's kind of like how I look at it. But what do you think about MOBB, the Infamous, being rated in that manner? And no knock against those brothers, and RIP to Prodigy.
Yeah, no knock. Infamous is an incredible album, but we put it up against stuff like, what I'm saying, Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim, and, Run DMC. Like, these are albums that started something. Like, then you got The Chronic, you got Enter the Wu-Tang, it's so many dope albums that's out, that came out. So I'm not gonna bash it and say like I wasn't like complaining about it. Like, I saw some people online, but Infamous is an incredible album, and if you like that type of music, which I do, but if you really like it, I can see why you would say that. Just like I see why people would put Illmatic up there. You know what I'm saying? I understand why.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a question, Vil? Is the East Coast the best when it comes to hip hop? And that goes for you too, Tom. like when you think about regions, is it East Coast?
When I compare it to the eras I like, yes, but also East Coast really haven't ran it for a while. You know what I'm saying? They never really lost to me, and this is just my opinion, I feel like they lost their identity and they kind of rejected their identity. Because if you listen to an East Coast rapper today, they don't even sound like they're from the East Coast, mainly New York, which is weird. Hip hop is weird, especially when it comes to the East Coast, West Coast thing, because you have cats that, like, I'm going to give you some great examples. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Miami is considered straight up South, but it is on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Pimp C. He made that.
Virginia's on the East Coast. Atlanta's an East Side city. It's not necessarily on the East, like really on the coast, but East City. You know what I'm saying? It's still in the South.
No, I'm saying like Mason-Dixon line.
No.
You got to add in the Mason-Dixon.
I understand.
You can't just, what I'm saying is, so East Coast.
From Baltimore don't even claim East Coast that like that. So
who don't?
Baltimore. But I would say, but then you got, let's say, LA, right? Or even LA, Oakland. You have cats like, you know what I'm saying, Far Side. You got cats like Dale the Funky Homo Sapien. They think though they're from the East Coast. Somebody like Master Ace, they thought he was from the West Coast. So it's like,
well, he not though. We gotta know where they are.
Gangstar. Neither of them really.
But they rep the East Coast.
They rep the East Coast. But DJ Premier is from Houston. He's from the South. You know what I'm saying?
Technically, Snoop and his family is from the South too, but you know what they about.
I know. So, but I would say this, but East Coast has the history though, and that's where I really love hip hop. But as far as a fan, I mean, I like all hip hop. I like all, well, in a certain era, because we talking 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I like East, West, South, and Midwest. I liked all of it.
Yeah, but the East lost their way. Like when you had, see, were you fans of Show and AG?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that Digging in the Crates era, they had a certain sound that if they would have just continued that vibe, you know what I'm saying? You can elevate the vibe. Just like when I sent you the song with Big L, Ty. And you know how Big L, when he coming out with his stuff, he'll remix something and he'll be like, nah, this is the 99 flow. You know what I'm saying? Where he's telling you that he's elevating to a different degree. You know what I'm saying? All they had to do was just keep that, and like you said, not lose themselves into, because once you start having like 50 Cent sound like a Southern rapper, but he, you know what I'm saying? Like then other guys start sound, then they start going into drill music, and it's like, no, you New York, like what are you doing? You know, then you got Tekashi 6ix9ine and people like, come on, man, this is starting to be like buffoonery. But anyway, Ty, I want to get your thoughts as well, man. South or East, West, or South. I mean, Midwest. I don't think they can make a claim, but I just think before you answer, sides just can't do what the other sides can do. You know what I mean? When they at their best.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely East. East is number one for me.
Bias, man. You bias. You over here on the East Coast.
Yeah. Then, like, if you would say early 2000s, I would definitely say like, Midwest. But the 90s, late 90s, for me is definitely East, West. But then like the early, like they said, the early 2000s, like when you got like Nelly, Ludacris.
Where's Pac though? What is Pac considered?
Well, Pac was in the early 90s, and he still had his thing up to like the mid 90s. So Pac was like a little bit of both, right? Early 90s and mid 90s. So
for the most part, Pac always, to me, was more West anyway, because then he was climbing around with the underground. You know what I'm saying? By the time he started coming out. But anyway.
Yeah, but that second album was that was the bombs. He did an Ice Cube on that second album, because that second album was sound like it was Public Enemy-ish, and he kind of went for a more East Coast sound on that second one.
So
Strictly.
Look up my head, there's really no screws in it.
Yeah, and I felt like, he probably felt the same way. He probably felt like he needed to embrace the West Coast more, and he really did that. When he started coming out with Thug Life and all that, you could see him kind of putting it together, and then Me Against the World is like straight up West Coast.
Okay.
Because people don't. I remember when people don't remember. Even the first album, it had an East Coast sound, and the Digital Underground was considered like the extended family of the native tongues. And some folks used to think at first that Digital Underground was from the East Coast. They had to say we from Oakland. Look at it. We do our own music. We got instruments in our music like Tony. So they wasn't considered like NWA type West Coast, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hop with me, baby. Shout out to that one club. I won the Humpty Hump contest. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, what were you saying, Ty? They crowned me.
Just for me, like if we're in the 90s, for me, I mean, East Coast is number one for me. It's always East Coast. Then I would say West, but like I said, like the early 2000s era, when I say you had Ludacris, Nelly, all them. Who else was it out there? Chingy. But I would say for me it's East, West, then like Midwest. So that's how it is for me.
Yeah,
but East is always number one for me, man. It's just too many. It's just too many great artists from the East, man. Way too many.
I'm gonna say it's almost equal, but I would tip my hat to the East. Is what you said before, Vale, is because you gotta always honor the originators. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it derived from. And a lot of guys who came out from the West, they would look up to the guys who started them off. You know what I'm saying? When I heard KRS or when I heard like Corrupt, even though he was like an East-West Coast guy because he's from Philly, but he moved to the West. Because I remember one song he was saying, "Call me Young Blast Master." You know what I'm saying? So he was shouting out like Chris and all of them. So you gotta tip your hat. They just like when you get to that funk era, the West was on one at that time. Like I said, when you got dudes like who's so underrated, like Cold 187 and KMG, man, Above the Law, like that was a cold group. DOC, even though DOC is from Dallas, Dallas Oak Cliff. But those dudes were cold, man. NWA, you know what I'm saying? The South, well, Ghetto Boys on here, they're very underrated. Like that first CD that you see or album right here, that was something that took me through like high school. Like we were emulating. Like Bushwick too is under. Like there's so many dudes that's underrated. You know what I mean? So hip hop. Like right now, I have the opportunity to go back and check on and listen to some of the guys who previously I wasn't checking for. You know what I mean? I had no idea they were that good because some guys were just that so dynamic that you gravitated towards their music. But I'm gonna give you one name, Vale. Did you know the artist OC from Digging in the Crates?
Yeah, Word Life and all that. Yeah.
See, I wasn't really listening to him at that time, and even Show and AG. Like I wasn't, once I hear this, something, oh, that's where that came from. You know what I mean? But now that I go back, it's that stuff is sticking to my ribs so much. I'm at the gym hitting weights and hitting the treadmill, and that's all I'm listening to is that era. That's what I'm saying as far as that sound. If
So,
they
you ever heard this Digging in the Crate song called One Day with all of them just going in like
or day one,
Big L? Yeah, day one. You
yeah,
heard
that's,
that?
that's the classic. Yeah, that's the
Woo!
classic one right there.
All right, that's all. I'm in with that one.
Yeah, that's the and then I sent Ty. I sent you so Big L was in Amsterdam and he was performing, and he got another verse for that where he was telling. That's the one I sent you at first.
Right.
Yeah, man, he got some stuff out there. That's what we were talking about Big L last week. My last question to you, Bill, as far as that's concerned, I know we're going on pretty long, but what did you think of Big L?
I mean, I thought he was just dope, highly underrated. Um, I actually liked the lifestyles of the Rich and Dangerous. It just production wise, you can tell that the beats are outdated for its time. But from a lyrical standpoint, I mean, I could tell that Big L was gonna be, dope. And I feel like he was taken too soon. And I think he might have been close to popping at the time that he got. I think he was working on a deal with Rockefeller.
Yeah, it's about to, yeah.
Yeah. But the cat, man, he was just dope, man. Just dope.
He was dope, and he had like the lyrical ability was there. It was outstanding. It was top tier. It's like one of the better guys that you ever gonna hear from that standpoint. But L, the underrated part of L was a tough little dude. You know what I'm saying? He always telling you what he gonna do to you. You know what I'm saying? And that used to tickle me because he a little dude. You know what I'm saying? But he always talking about he gonna stick you and he gonna beat you up. But he did it in such a creative way. But that line, what do you think about that line I sent you earlier, Ty, about when he was 6.5?
Yeah, that was wild, man. Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, like you said, he was like a underground, underrated out rapper. Like he didn't have like the popularity like Jay-Z, even though he was on track with Jay-Z. Jay-Z had they had the videos and all that.
He's the only dude, man. He's the only dude that out rap, like when him and Jay was rapping with each other. Yeah, he was levels ahead of Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying?
Man, like that was, man, like he made Jay-Z sound like an amateur in that joint, man. Like amateur, man. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. And then he got the one with Pot, what was it called?
Deadly Combination.
Deadly Combination. Yeah, he the only one, like one of the only guys that got, songs with them. But he also was bigging up Pac and Big once they passed away and stuff like that. Yeah, Big L was something else, man. Last but not least, man, we're gonna end on this. Just give me a quick response. Ty, you may not even be familiar with this, but I heard you. I said that I made a comment. I made a Spice One reference, and you caught it the other day. So I decided to put this on here for you, Vale. Is there any question about which one of these was the better album? Because both of them to me are classic.
Oh man, they both cold, and I'm gonna go with America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
Even though Spice One's first album, self-titled album, it was dope. Because 1-900 Spice was too short, I'm gonna give it to Ice Cube. I thought that was a dope rap. That was a dope record that it was just way too short.
Do you have a Spice One coming like he came on Spice One's first album if you didn't have a Cube? Because people were calling him Baby Cube when he first came out. Because he kind of sounded like him to a certain degree.
To a certain degree. And the more I listen to it, the more I kind of see it. When I didn't see it back then, like, for example, 187 Proof and 187 Pure, that could be that's something that I could see Q doing. You know what I'm saying? The thing with America's Most Wanted was Ice Cube at the time was the one bridging. It's funny because he went on West Coast Connection. He was dissing the East Coast, but this was the album that was kind of bridging those two coasts because they didn't think he was going to be anything when he left the NWA. And he linked up with the Bomb Squad, with Public Enemy and stuff like that, and started making his album in New York. And folks wasn't sure what it was going to sound like. So when it came out the gate, just being dope, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even have like a bunch of video. He only had like what, 1 or 2 singles, like 2 singles or something like that. But his album was so big that it grew a demand. That's how he ended up with coming out with Death Certificate and all that. So, and Spice his album was dope too. And the funny thing about Spice One, even though he was this was gangster rap, it was hard to see that he was going to come out that next year, 187. He wrote, and that album was even going to be harder because when you listen to that first album, it's kind of like it's almost like what Pac became. Like his first album was more like real to me, and then the second and third album they became more like entertainment. Like when you hear like "Welcome to the Ghetto," that's man, write that song down. Like that's one of the dopest. I think that rhyme on "Welcome to the Ghetto," and people might hate me for this, but it stands up to a song like "Brenda's Got a Baby." I thought it was just as important, and it gets overlooked.
Shit, what Too Short? Like I'm gonna say it's Too Short song that's overlooked. This
I
Ghetto.
Won't Be Free. Oh, the Ghetto. I'm about to say you thought you were gonna say "Won't Be Free."
Yeah, Too Short. You had some stuff back in the day where he was saying some things. You know what I mean? But anywho, Ty, are you familiar with any of these CDs or albums?
Nah, like I said, I was a little too young at that time. Like I said, I just recently found out about Spice One. It's like I don't know how I missed that, man. But like I said, I like this music from what I heard. But as far as Ice Cube, man, I remember, like I told you, I used to make CDs. So I remember making this was like in the probably later 2000s, though. I made an album for a guy by Ice Cube, Laugh Now and Cry Later. If you guys are familiar with that. It was all right to me, but I listened to it, but it was cool.
Well, Ice Cube at that time was like Canelo is right now, a little past his prime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
You know, the first 3, but even Spice, like the first 3, he was on this stuff. But you gotta keep in mind, Ice Cube he had his hand in a lot of stuff, movies, shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Death Certificate was even better to me. It was better than America's Most Wanted. Like Death Certificate, I think was probably
it's pinnacle. Yeah, it was a peak.
Matter of fact, that if you're gonna put Infamous up there, I think Death Certificate should be up there. Even though it's not, it's some play. I mean, people can criticize it, but as far as artistic value and the message she was trying to say, I thought it was one of the best albums I ever heard.
Oh yeah, and then also like for me, being in that moment at that time, like real time. Like experiencing that. It's certain things that I could share with you. Like he had a line about he did something through on my white Ewings or something like that he was saying. Like dudes were actually. I mean, it was just so real because so now you got him like this album right here is him. Like okay, I'm coming now after I was a part of NWA. This is my project. It seemed like he put it all together, but also you got to factor in that you got a lot going on in terms of you had the Reginald Denny situation with the peace treaty and all of that. A lot of that's going on. And there's other things that's going on in hip hop. It just was a prime piece for that era as well. If you listen to those songs, like you said, as far as Death Certificate, he got like a little bit of what a lot of dudes were experiencing, you know, during that time, but it's in hip hop form and they some cold songs, you know what I mean? All of them, you know what I mean? And then, but see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I can't, as far as West Coast, when they had it on lock, the Cubes, the NWAs, DJ Quick was not too long after that. Then you got 8, you got Spice. Like, they was coming with way too much stuff too to just be like, East Coast was just killing them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. Then you got the Dre with the Snoops and it above the law, Dr. Dre. Man, they were coming. What do you ever think is going to get to a point where we're going to get anything close to what we had at that time? Like that's
never say never, but I don't see it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the end. Like I say, you got your boy. He eating a lot, going to Ruby Tuesday, leaving Fridays to go to Ruby Tuesday for a Sunday.
Happy. Leave my boy Bo Mac alone. He happy.
But that's an excellent show, man. What we've been on for about 3 of them? I think
almost 3 hours.
But it's a good conversation, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's all organic. It's not like it's forced conversation. It's not stuff that, we just chopping it up, right? And then you got my guy Teach. He says he throwing up the little sign over there. You respect what we're saying? Certainly salute you, good brother. All right, Vale, that's the last part of the show, man. Now we can go ahead and close out for good, man. Ty, you got anything that you want to share out, man, before we wrap it up?
Nah, man, that's it for me, man.
Sound like you exhausted, good brother. All right, Vale.
All right, man. I'm a little exhausted too. But a shout out to everybody, man. Say all the listeners, man, rock with us. Keep on rocking. We're gonna keep on
Milwaukee Brewers too.
Milwaukee Brewers. Hey, I reluctantly say go Tigers. They were doing well early in the season. Now it seemed like they were trying to tank it or something.
Are they in the playoffs?
Yeah, in the playoffs, they got a wild card spot and they passed that wild card. They took out Cleveland, which Cleveland was beating them up in the end of the regular season. That's the reason why they kind of lost their position.
Let me check your hip hop knowledge. I was in Cleveland late last evening. Who said that?
No, I don't even know.
That's Tupac, sir. All right, folks. Bill doesn't know it's hip hop. We're gonna go ahead and end on that. Yeah, have a good week, man. We out.
Right. Peace.